Well, well, well. It is time to talk Cowboys. Let's go. Man. Next Thursday, the Cowboys will be beating down on the Eagles. At least that is the plan. And I believe with this roster, we got the team that can do it. All right, let's go. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And if you like this video, don't forget at the end to please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member, subscriber yet, please do. We have a lot of great things coming up this season. Now let's talk facts. The Cowboys are getting ready for, at least to me, the defining game of the season. This game tells us where do we need to go from here, whether it be good or bad. But I believe the Cowboys are going to look extremely good against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Cowboys, while everybody is crying about the Cowboys not making any moves, don't understand where that stuff comes from. Why do we need to make moves? The Cowboys have put together an incredible roster, and I promise you it is hard for them to come to a 53-man roster because they did such a good job in free agency, in the draft, and with trades. Cowboys did a great job. All we need is a one tech, and even with the Trayvon Diggs news, I would still bring in a cornerback if I were the Cowboys. I would still bring in a cornerback. But nevertheless, the Dallas Cowboys, they are getting ready for none other than the first game of the season. So let's get to our topics for today. Today, we are going to be talking about the Cowboys roster cuts. We're going to be looking at all the latest news on the Cowboys roster cuts. La'el Collins is one of those roster cuts, but I believe the Cowboys are trying to pull the okey doke with La'el Collins, and we'll talk about that. It looks like that Trayvon Diggs, from the information that we're getting, not only will Trayvon Diggs be back, looks like early, but it looks like Trayvon Diggs may be trying to shoot for game one. We're going to talk about it. And then we're going to talk about this issue with Micah Parsons. And I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about when we get to that subject matter. Then, breaking news and vids. It looks like the practice is over for the day. I've been seeing some pictures of some interviews. I'm hoping that we'll get some up on DallasCowboys.com on YouTube so we can listen to some of the interviews from Dak Prescott and Trayvon Diggs. Those are the pictures I've seen so far. So that's today's show. Roster cuts, La'el Collins, Trayvon Diggs, Kite News, Micah Parsons, breaking news and vids. Now, appreciate y'all rocking with me. Let's get this roll call in. Let's go. The best chat on YouTube, bar none. Let's get it. Yo, G, bless him. Let's get to the top here. John Jones, he said, what up, G Money? It's a new Jack City. You know what I'm talking about. Let's go. Yep, Trey Henderson and the Bengals closing in on the deal. Doesn't surprise me at all. Big Moss Dog, what's going on with you? Good to see you. Brandon Cup in the crib. Good to see you. Dominique Pittman always in here. What's going on? Yeah, we're going to talk about that Dominique Pittman. Cowboys playing chess. I know what they're doing. Miss Matrix in the crib. She said, hit that like button. Big Cloud 77 in the congregation. What's going on with you? Daniel, my right-hand man in here, he said, we got cuts to discuss and breaking news to pass along. No doubt about it. Let's go. Rena Zaguini. Let's go. What's going on with you? Good to see you. Justin Bradley in the crib. Yeah, McLaren extended 3 years. No surprise. I want to see the guarantees, though. No surprise. Inglewood Trojans in here. What up? What's going on? Family fun. He says, Jerry, with that enthusiasm concerning the GM of the team, needs to go to the mirror, point at it and say, I'm going to fire that. Nah, he ain't firing him, man. He is not firing himself. It ain't going to happen. John Henry, again, in the crib. Good to see you this afternoon. Dak owns a wrench. Let's go. Good to see you up in here. Kello V in the crib. What's going on with you? Katharina Kiss. What's going on with you? My sister, Nisi, from the beginning. Let's go. Good to see you in here. Always looking for your insight. All right, Sean Springer up in here. Good to see you. Man, I appreciate you. He said, just in time for my favorite Cowboys content. Let's go. All right, we about to get this thing started. I can't go without mentioning my man, JCT Slice. What's going on with you? He said, let's go. Yes, he said the link in Humble, Jalen Hurts. We'll talk about it as we keep going. All right, couple of more. We're going to get this thing going. Davion Wallace in the crib, in the congregation. What's going on? Mark Vasquez, good to see you. He says, what up, Cowboys Nation? All right, let's get this thing started. Brandy Mahoney, got to tell you what's going on with you. Yes, let's go. All right, D-Hawk06, man, good to see you. He said, I'm finally able to get out early enough to catch an afternoon stream. Yes, sir. Let's go, let's go. Ron Hanna, as usual, always up in here. Let's go, Ron Hanna. We about to talk some facts today. Randy McIntyre, Ken Please up in here. Bruce in the crib, 3613. No relation to Bruce Wayne, but let's get it anyway. Ace Wade, 17, in the crib. Always good to see you. Looking dapper on that avatar. Let's go. Steven Alton, let's go, Cowboys. And we about to get this thing started. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. All right, so we'll get some more greetings as we go along. I want to go ahead and get this thing started with the Dallas Cowboys cuts. And I'm going to be monitoring DallasCowboys.com, trying to see if there's going to be some some interviews in particular breaking over there. I'm also going to keep my eyes on 105.3 The Fan, trying to see what's breaking over there. But the good thing is, kind of what we are looking at, it is now starting to be business as usual because the season is starting. And so people are going to be looking, I believe, less for just tantalizing headlines, and people are going to be looking now more for stuff that is going on with the team. And that of the team, of course, back to business as usual. Not as much, I believe, not as many storylines. But I am so glad that we can finally get back to football and we don't have to be reaching for a lot of these stories. So, again, I'm going to continue to monitor that and see if we get some interviews. But I want to get to this first article today, the roster cut update. I want to get to the roster cuts update because Brian Schottenheimer said that we were going to be surprised by some of the Cowboys roster cuts. I mean, Brian Schottenheimer was like, yeah, y'all going to be shocked by some of these roster cuts. Okay. Can somebody tell me a roster cut that actually surprised them? I haven't seen a roster cut that actually surprised me. When we look at these roster cuts, we had already did our own roster cuts. And I'm going to look at this. I want to update and see where we were right and where we were wrong on these roster cuts. But when I was doing the roster cuts last week, I just don't see anything that the Cowboys have done that is actually surprising. I just don't see any surprise moves. This to me just looks like the Cowboys are doing the easy stuff because the Cowboys do have what I call the easy cuts. They have the easy cuts, and that's what they've done so far. 2025 roster tracker and cut. Let's kind of blow that up. Says with the preseason now in the books, one of the most difficult parts of the NFL calendar has arrived for the Dallas Cowboys front office and those of each of the 32 teams around the league, and that's the task of cutting down the roster ahead of the regular season. The first headline move made by the Cowboys on Sunday, transitioning Trayvon Diggs from the active PUP, physically unable to perform list, where the all-pro cornerback started this year's training camp, as he recovered from a season-ending knee injury to the active roster to start the season. So it says it doesn't guarantee he'll be ready for week 1. Sounds like he's shooting for week 1, clash against the Eagles and Philly, but it does mean that there's a chance, and most importantly, that his roster seat is now occupied. That's a big deal too. Balanced by the team's decision to release Lyle Collins after a second attempted reunion with the veteran offensive lineman in this year's training camp. Now, I believe Lyle Collins is going to the Cowboys practice squad, and we'll look at that in a moment. It says, keep an eye on the tracker below as it will be updated frequently to understand the flurry of official transactions happening over the next couple of days as the 53-man roster is formed and not long thereafter the official practice squad. So let's look and see what's been updated, because I don't really see anything from when I looked at this earlier that's been updated. But they released Lyle Collins. I'm sorry, but this was no surprise to anybody. When we look over here at the one that we did, let me see, the one that I did the other day. Let's see if we can look at this list and see kind of where we were. Make sure this is the, offensive side of the ball. Okay, let's see. Lyle Collins. And if I'm pretty sure that we said that Lyle Collins was going to be practice squad. Yeah, you can see right here. Lyle Collins got a big old P beside his name. We're going to see if it comes to fruition. I got a strange feeling Lyle Collins is going to make the practice squad. And so it looks like, from what my understanding is, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but when you waive players, you're trying to see if they clear waivers. So then if they clear waivers, you can possibly bring them back on the practice squad if you want them, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what the Cowboys are kind of doing here. But y'all inform me if I'm wrong on this. But again, when you look at these players like Nick Broker, who? Denzel Daxon, who? Josh Kelly, kind of a who? Tyler Neville, who? Troy Pride, who? John Stevens Jr., who? Christian Matthew, who? These are all players that it seems like the Cowboys don't want on the 53, but they're interested in having them on. They're interested in having them possibly on the practice squad, because, again, you don't have to be a football aficionado to look at these names and understand that these names are going to be the first casualties. Duh. Who are these people? Who are they? And none of them really performed. You didn't really hear their name during the training camp. You didn't hear their name in the preseason. So if we didn't hear their name then we know pretty much what it was. And again, we talked about this the other day, and we got people who are always antsy because they're always looking at other teams. Guys, don't bother with looking at other teams. Don't bother yourself with that stuff. We're not other teams. I talked about this the other day. The Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons put out against us. And this is why that Atlanta Falcon game, I'm just taking it with a grain of salt, because that team was so horrible that the Atlanta Falcons didn't even delay 12 of them off the top. Shedeur Sanders, everybody's talking about now. I'm going to show you how people have a double standard. I'm going to show you what a double standard looks like. Joe Milton plays against inferior competition and still didn't look like, in my opinion, when you're talking about the Atlanta Falcons, still didn't look like what he needs to look like. And if I believe that if it is a tougher team, I don't even think you see some of the improvements that we're talking about with the footwork, maybe the way he read some things, some of the touch passes. Pressure burst pipes, or it creates diamonds. When you're playing against a very inferior team, you get a lot more time to do things and think and And okay, this is what my feet need to look like, and this is where how I need to stand, and this is how my steps need to look. And okay, I'm looking at the defense, and okay, it's developing pretty. It's the game is slowed down. No, the game hasn't slowed down. The Falcons were horrible. The Falcons were horrible. So everything is easier to process. But when you're playing against good teams, you don't get that time to process. And so the muscle memory isn't there. And so when you panic, you just kind of revert back to what you know to do. So Joe Milton was not as big of an improvement as people are trying to make it out to be. The competition was inferior. The Falcons cut almost all those people that played against Cowboys. Now, double standard. Shedeur Sanders plays. He's the third quarterback that plays with the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns basically had fans from the stands playing on the offensive line. The offensive line was so bad for the Cleveland Browns. They didn't even wait to cut him. Set that man up to fail. Set him up to fail. He's out there with the worst players on the Cleveland Browns team, and now you got people coming out talking about Shedeur Sanders is trash. Shedeur Sanders is trash. But when I really make a real analytical comparison, Shedeur Sanders in his first game balled out, 2 touchdowns, looking like a veteran out there against the starting lineup, thinking that was Detroit. The starting lineup, or some of the starters, he looked fabulous. Joe Milton against 2 really good teams, second team, looked horrible. But he looked good against scrubs. We've turned Milton into a hero because I don't care what anyone says when it comes to Joe Milton. There are many out there who want him to supplant Dak Prescott. They want him to supplant Dak Prescott. Media members, 3-letter networks, and I'm talking even locally, they want this man to take Dak Prescott's spot. They want him to. And that's why they were looking for a game to justify what they've been doing the whole training camp, the whole OTAs, and the whole preseason, when they were looking like absolute fools for hyping this man up. They chose the game where he played against the worst competition. But then with Shedeur Sanders, we chose the game where he played with the worst players. And we're judging him on that. Let me tell you something. This is about the Cowboys, but I'm going to tell you this about Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders better get ready. And I know he's ready because Deion Sanders is his father, and I know they have great, tremendous faith. But I'm going to tell you about Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is going to be the next Dak Prescott. Book it. Shedeur Sanders is going to be the next Dak Prescott. Book it. Book it. They judged Joe Milton same way they do anybody that's compared to Dak Prescott. They judged Joe Milton on his best. On his best against the worst team. He got tore up against 2 good teams. But on the bad team, he did well. Yeah, man, Joe Milton deserved that QB2. Y'all can tell me anything you want to. You're entitled to your opinion. But I don't think Joe Milton, 1, he did not earn the QB2 for the Dallas Cowboys. Number 2, if this is a championship level team, he's not good enough to be the backup quarterback. Not just of the Dallas Cowboys. Joe Milton is not yet, let me put yet. He's not yet good enough to be the quarterback of a championship team. Yet. But yet and still, for all you people who keep hating on Jerry Jones, Joe Milton has Jerry Jones written all over it. Joe Milton has Jerry Jones written all over it. In a camp where everybody competed, we got a player that we don't even want to admit that did not compete. He did not compete, and we don't want to admit it. And it's a travesty. And that's why I don't give some of these people who always trying to talk about they keep it real. No, they keep it real with their own, with the stuff they like. When it's the stuff they don't like, they don't keep it real. There is nobody who has truly been observing Joe Milton can comfortably say, yeah, man, Dak Prescott go down? Shoo, Joe Milton gonna tear this thing up. There is nobody that can comfortably say that. But I tell you what I can comfortably say. Dak Prescott better not get hurt. I'm praying that he doesn't get hurt. Because you're going to see the real Joe Milton. The same one we saw, New England, he played with against terrible competition against the Bills. He looked like a world beater. We seen him in the preseason. He looked terrible. We put him against the Falcons in a game. The Bills game meant nothing. He looked like a world beater. The third preseason game was worth nothing. Looked like a world beater. And didn't actually look like a world beater. But because people want him, don't think people just want him to be successful. That ain't the case, because I want him to be successful. And in my estimation, I'm actually talking about, I'm talking like somebody who wants him to be successful. Don't coddle him. Don't baby him. You're going to do it like everyone else do it. Every other rookie quarterback does it. He's not even a rookie. You're going to do it like every other quarterback does it. You're not going to get a behemoth of reps because you need reps. They all need reps. No, you're going to compete for reps. And if you can show us you can earn those reps, then you're going to get more reps. It's not what we did. And that's why I'm telling us, Shedeur Sanders better get ready. And I know he's ready. I know his father has prepared him. He's going to be the next Dak Prescott. He will be the next Dak Prescott. They're going to always judge Shedeur Sanders on his worst. They're always going to judge him on his worst. And they're going to make every excuse for why he isn't good when he does his best. I'm telling us, the only person on this roster that did not compete. And I just can't believe that we're still satisfied with the fact the Cowboys gave it to him. But again, for all you people who hating on Jerry Jones, it's amazing to me how y'all always have it both ways. Jerry is terrible. Jerry stinks. I can't stand Jerry. I hate Jerry. Joe Milton, whoa, man, he's the backup quarterback for the Cowboys. He didn't earn it. Jerry gave it to him. Jerry gave it to him. And it is blatantly obvious that Jerry gave it to him. But I digress. So again, Brian Schottenheimer told us that there were going to be some shocking moves by the Cowboys. And again, y'all got to tell me where are the shocking moves. I don't see anything shocking. People have been wondering about Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith, whether we keep him or cut him, neither one of them is a shocking move. Neither one of them is a shocking move. Y'all tell me what you think, but neither one of them is neither one of them are a shocking move. And this isn't knocking Brian Schottenheimer. I'm riding with Brian Schottenheimer. But what I do want Brian Schottenheimer to do, as I've said before, what I do want Brian Schottenheimer to do, Brian, stop talking so much. Brian Schottenheimer, stop talking so much. Stop talking so much. Stop telling us things, and then those things don't come to fruition. We got time. We're going to see what happens tomorrow. But I've already told y'all, when you look at what the Cowboys did, now this is where I want to give Brian Schottenheimer credit, along with Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones in his front office. We're not like some of these other teams like the Eagles. I'm telling y'all, people are not paying attention to the Eagles. The Eagles are scrambling and they're worried about the Cowboys, whether people realize it or not. The Eagles are worried about the Cowboys because the Eagles are looking at the Cowboys on paper and they're saying they look like they look like a championship level team. The Cowboys are approaching where the Eagles were last year The Cowboys are approaching that. They haven't made it yet, but they're approaching it. And the only reason why we haven't made it, one tech, cornerback, because we don't know, as much as we woo-hooing about Trayvon Diggs, we don't know what he's going to be when he hits the field. And then number 3, we don't know who our running back truly is. And if it is Javonte Williams, which I think he's going to be running back 1 starting out, we don't know, like, what is our run game really going to look like? We don't really know what it's going to look like yet. So when you just take out those 3 issues, when you look at the Cowboys, you're just kind of like, if you're the Eagles, man, these dudes are looking really, really, really good. What is Dak Prescott against the Eagles? 9-4? 9-4? Some of those victories are against Jalen Hurts, 9-4. The Eagles are scrambling, in particular in the trenches. There's a reason why they're making moves, because they're trying to shore up that O-line. They have some problems on the interior, I think it is, of their O-line. They are looking at the Cowboys saying, hold on a second. So while people keep talking about, Howie Roseman is doing, I don't care what Howie Roseman is doing. I don't care that the Washington Commanders extended Terry McLaughlin. I don't care. The Cowboys did so good off-season, or I'm sorry, in free agency, the draft, trades. Rather than the Cowboys scrambling to figure out, can we get somebody else in, the Cowboys are scrambling like, how are we going to keep all these players? The Cowboys are literally saying, I'm guaranteeing you, they're in the room right now saying, no, we're not worried about bringing other players in yet. We're not worried about that yet. We're trying to figure out, how do we keep all the players that we have? Because we got some players that, even though we got some players we want to keep, but they can't fit in the 53. I'm telling y'all, the Cowboys don't want to get away from Peyton Turner. They don't want to cut Peyton Turner. When you look at the Cowboys roster, they don't want to cut Peyton Turner, guys. They don't want Peyton Turner to get out there because they're afraid that Peyton Turner may be one of those players that get out there and they go, no, bro, y'all not getting him back. Cowboys don't want to do that with players like Peyton Turner. The Cowboys got players, I'm telling you, they have players they want to keep. Barron Justin or Justin Barron. The Cowboys don't want Justin Barron to get out there where someone else could get him. The Cowboys are not like these other teams who are looking at their roster after the preseason going, hey, man, we may need to make some more improvements. No, the Cowboys are saying, we don't really have a lot of improvements. One tech, we can handle that after this week. The Cowboys got at least 5 days to get a one tech. I'm giving them to at least maybe Saturday, even Monday. The Cowboys can say, okay, we're going to get a one tech. But they have to, by tomorrow, figure out, how do we get this roster that we put together that we absolutely love? How do we get it to 53? How do we get it to 53? Lyle Collins was an easy one. Okay, cut Lyle Collins. A lot of people probably won't be checking for Lyle Collins, so we can bring him back on the practice squad. But everyone else, some of these other players, you're in danger. That's why you haven't heard a name like Justin Barron. James Houston. James Houston. You're crazy. You're crazy if you're the Cowboys. You're crazy if they let James Houston get out there and someone else gets an opportunity to get him. They're crazy. They're literally crazy. So I just want to encourage Cowboy fans, stop looking at what everyone else is doing and stop letting other people tell you to hate Jerry Jones and just judge Jerry Jones now on a case-by-case basis. If you want to judge him on the Micah Parsons thing, judge him on the Micah Parsons thing. But you're going to have to give Jerry Jones and this front office credit because they have put together a roster that is so good, they're trying to figure out Not how to bring them in. How do we keep them in? The Cowboys got show enough players that they just don't want to let go. Bottom line, they just have players. They just have players. They don't want to let go. They're like, how do we do it? How do we keep these people? They're not thinking about it. I'm telling you, the Cowboys, I'm giving them credit. The Cowboys absolutely know they need a one tech. They absolutely know they need a one tech. The Cowboys are not dumb. They know they need a one tech. The Cowboys are thinking, I would say they're thinking like me. Don't let me say they're thinking like me. Let me just say this. If I'm the Cowboys and I'm thinking logically, my thought process is simple. My thought process is simple. Okay. I don't have to worry about the one tech until Tuesday evening. Let's not consume ourselves with the one tech until Tuesday evening, because right now we got to focus on how do we keep this team we have because we like it. Wide receiver room, loaded. Linebacker room, tell me anything you want to. The linebacker room for the Cowboys in 2025 is the best it has looked in years. It's the best that it's looked in years. Period. It's the best that it's looked in years. The Cowboys are trying to figure out, how do we keep all this? Defensive end, linebacker. Even when you look at the three tech, man, we are bona fide at the three tech. We're just trying to figure out the one tech. We're bona fide at the three tech. Trayvon Diggs coming back is going to really help shore up the cornerback room. Savon Revel Jr. will probably follow him up in October. So the Cowboys, again, they're not as focused like other people are on trying to, okay, let's make some moves now because we're not good enough now. No, the Cowboys are saying, no, we can push that off until Tuesday evening because we got to figure out how do we keep all these players that we want to keep that can't make the 53-man roster. And I am sure this is one of the reasons why we are not seeing some of the things we want to see. And I say we loosely. Because as far as I go, I'm pretty happy with what the Cowboys are doing. Let's get a super chat in here. Star Guardian X, appreciate you. Star Guardian X. Appreciate that $2 super chat. Star Guardian X, this is exactly where I was going. So the Cowboys, in a move, they're trying to play chess here. They're trying to play chess. Says over here on X, Jeremy Fowler reports the Cowboys will place running back Phil Maffa shoulder on injured reserve. When did he get his shoulder hurt? Y'all help me out. When did he get his shoulder hurt? Y'all help me out, y'all. When did he get his shoulder hurt? The Cowboys are playing chess. The Cowboys are playing chess. How do we keep these players? See, I'm telling y'all, there are just some people out there, and I'm going to let everybody remain nameless, so I don't want no bad blood with anybody. If the shoe fit, wear it. First dog bark, bite. First dog bark, then hey, it is what it is. But I am telling us, there are some media members out there who actually do not like the team that they're covered. They're paid to cover the team. They don't like the team. I don't know if they dislike the team, but they don't like the team. And some of them who are supposed to be Cowboys, I don't know. I guess maybe it's not a requirement to be a Cowboys fan. to work for the Cowboys. Maybe that's where I'm kind of like disillusioned. But they're not Cowboy fans. And so when they write stories, I'm not concerned that they don't write the stories with a Cowboy slant. That part don't concern me. What concerns me is they seem to write the stories like they don't like the Cowboys. Like every story has to be negative as it applies to the Cowboys. Just pay attention. Pay attention to how a lot of these people who cover the Cowboys, just pay attention to how they write and report. They report not as fans. They don't report as objective. They report as people who write as in everything is Cowboys are terrible. Cowboys are terrible. The Cowboys are playing chess, and it's obvious. It's very obvious. We know doggone well there is nothing wrong with Phil Maffa. This is the Cowboys' way of continuing to develop Phil Maffa. So it becomes obvious to me in the running back room, there is something the Cowboys want to do, at least for now. Maybe the Cowboys surprise us and they keep Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. Maybe this is what they're doing. Maybe they're just trying to figure out a way right now to maybe keep both of those while not allowing Jaden Blue or Phil Maffa to get away from him. But, yeah, he's on injured reserve. The plan is for him to return during the season. 15 carries, 59 yards. So, maybe, again, this is the Cowboys playing chess to maybe they want to see what Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams are, because Miles Sanders did get hurt. Now, we know Miles Sanders did get hurt, and that's the reason why the Cowboys kept him out. So this may be their way of saying, we're going to give Miles Sanders a couple more games. Because I'm telling you, for whatever reason, I think the Cowboys want to let Miles Sanders play against the Eagles. I really do think they want him to play against the Eagles. And maybe they don't feel like Maffa. Maybe they don't feel like Maffa and especially Jaden Blue, because he's a lighter running back. Maybe they don't think they're ready for a team like the Eagles. Because I'm telling you, while the Eagles are having some issues, I think, on their offensive line, that defensive line, I think they're still going to be good. And so this is what the Cowboys are doing. Attack with the Cowboys said he absolutely love it. Yeah, they playing chess. Cowboys are playing chess. They're trying to figure out how to keep players. And even with Lyle Collins, I think they're using the thing that I was talking about the other day. I think when you talk about Lyle Collins, okay, you can cut Lyle Collins and you're probably pretty safe that nobody's going to go out there and get him. So you can go back and get him and put him on a practice squad if you want to. I think that's where they are with Lyle Collins. My man Poobie D up in here, what's going on? Poobie D, I'm with you. I believe Maffa needs to be on the 53. And Poobie D, I'm going to tell you what I think. I think the Cowboys should just go ahead and just let Phil Maffa start now. Now. Javonte Williams, Phil Maffa, Jaden Blue, right now. Right now. That's where I am with this running back room. Javonte Williams, maybe he gets the majority of the snaps for the first 3 to 4 games. I'm going to increase Phil Maffa's workload game after game after game to maybe to where I can get him by the 6th game. Phil Maffa is my starting running back. Javonte Williams is my spell running back. Jaden Blue is my versatile Swiss Army knife running back, to where I'm playing him on the wheel routes. I'm letting him line up in the slot from time to time. If I run 4 wide receivers, I'm going to put him in the backfield. I'm going to put him in motion. I'm going to do everything with Jaden Blue. So I'm not worried about Jaden Blue snaps because he's got so much speed. Really, with Jaden Blue, I just really want to focus on getting him in space. And I know Jaden Blue wants to prove that, yeah, man, I'm not a scat back, bro. You can prove that over the next 2 to 3 years. Because right now, I'm going to play you at your strength. Speed. Speed. I'm not trying to prove anything. Speed. That's all I'm worried about. And so that's kind of where I am with the Cowboys as it applies to that. But again, Cowboys are playing chess. I think we're going to see more ways where the Cowboys are going to try to get some of these players to where they don't get away from them. Because I'm telling us, guys, we don't look at things, look at it how you want to. I'm just telling you how I look at it. The glass is either half full or half empty. A lot of people look at it as half empty, and they're always saying, ooh, if we don't do this and we don't do this. I look at it as half full. The Cowboys have done such a great job. They are not worried about they're more worried about the cuts than bringing people in. That just goes to show you how good of a job they did. And so again, they're not like these other teams, man. They're not out here trying to figure out, like, okay, who can we bring in? No, the Cowboys say I can worry about that Tuesday evening and going forward. But right now on Monday, nah, bro. We got to figure out how we're going to keep some of these players that the Cowboys did a great job of going out and picking up free agency, the draft, and so forth and so forth. And so we'll keep monitoring this. They are saying that they are and let me look something up for us real quick, in case some of us don't know this. As it pertains to waived, released. Okay, so let's kind of look at this in case some of y'all didn't know this. When you look at the difference between all three of these, in the NFL, waive, release, and cut are related actions, but release is for vested veterans with 4 or more years of service, making them immediate free agents. That's what they did with Lyle Collins. While waive applies to players with less than 4 years of experience, subjecting them to the league's waiver wire where other teams can claim their existing contracts. So that's where we are on the waiver. Cut is a more general term encompassing both actions, signifying the termination of a player's contract with the team. So that's why I was saying earlier, the waiver is more for the Cowboys are maybe hoping that if they don't get claimed on waivers, then if they got guys they want to put on that practice squad. It says players with less than 4 years, they are placed on the waiver wire where other teams have a chance to claim their contract. The team with the worst record gets the first shot at claiming the player. If not claimed, if no team claims them, they become a free agent. And then, of course, again, the Cowboys can bring them back in if nobody wants them, of course, and put them on the practice squad. So that's kind of where we are. And so as a cut, then for me, I mean, I think for all of us, I think that's pretty obvious that if they cut you, they don't want you. They're not worried about you. They cut you, they don't want you. So that's kind of where we are. And so let's kind of look at Lyle Collins as we're talking about this. Let's look at Lyle Collins. Let me get a couple comments in here. Couple of more comments in here. C-Base said, now I'm gunning for Holden to make the practice squad at very least. C-Base, the Cowboys are playing a dangerous game with Trayshawn Holden. Cowboys are playing a dangerous game with Trayshawn Holden. Because there are some wide receiver hungry teams, and they may look at Trayshawn Holden as somebody that can come right in and contribute. What's going on? Hallelujah. He said roster gymnastics time. It is. I'm telling you, man, we are not in the same situation as other teams. These other teams are looking at their roster going, man, we got some holes in this thing. The Cowboys are looking at their roster saying, man, we got some guys we want to keep. We did such a good job. We got guys we want to keep. How do we keep them? So we're going to see. What's going on? Basil DeBose, he says, Cowboys sitting back and watching other teams make moves and get better. The good players are already getting snatched up. Basil, we already got good players. The Cowboys aren't concerned about that. They already have good players. Cowboys did a very good job this year. They have good players. The only thing the Cowboys are concerned about is a one tech, maybe a cornerback. That's it. Everything else, I believe the Cowboys are saying we good to go. And The Cowboys may actually be saying what we don't want them to say. Okay, Jay Toya and Mozzie is enough. Jay Toya, Mozzie, keep Perry on Winfrey. Let him flip back and forth between the 1-tech and the 3-tech. Solomon Thomas, let him flip back and forth between the 1-tech and the 3-tech. The Cowboys may roll with this simply because, let me say this, our linebacker crew looks just miles. Our linebacking crew is miles better than it's been in years. Matt Eberflus made, I said this before. I said early on, before the Cowboys start talking about Mozzie doing this 1/3, before I knew Mozzie lost weight. I was saying that if Mozzie is as good as some people were claiming he was then, the Mozzie mob has been out there. And I'm not saying that as in a negative connotation. That's just what I'm calling them. The Mozzie mob has been out there. They have been out there saying that Mozzie ain't bad. Mozzie ain't this. Give him a chance. Mozzie's going to make a big step this year. A lot of those people, there's been plenty of people saying that. Well, we talk out of both sides of our mouth. Well, if Mozzie is good enough to play the 1-tech, if Mozzie is going to take a big step, then why do the Cowboys? Maybe they're thinking, why do we really need the 1-tech? Especially if our linebacking play is going to be better than it's been in years. Matt Eberflus is the linebacker whisperer. We've already seen in these training camp. We've seen it during the preseason. If you have not noticed, the Cowboys linebacking play is so much better. I don't know what you've been watching. Matt Eberflus's defenses are not predicated. I've said this over and over and over. Matt Eberflus's defense is not predicated upon the 1-tech. It's predicated upon the 3-tech. And in his defense, the linebackers play a tremendous role in stopping the run. And so maybe Matt Eberflus is saying that if we're rolling with Mozzie, then we are confident our linebacking play is going to be good enough. That maybe that's what they're saying. But as far other than the 1-tech, this Cowboys roster, man, it's good. It's good. And it's great in a lot of places. Ron Hanna said, man, I agree. This linebacker room is loaded on talent alone, and a lot of them can really play. I think that's where the Cowboys may be. Ron Hanna, I think it's where they may be. Let me read this super chat. Star Guardian X. There it is, Star Guardian X. Everybody knows Matt Eberflus and these doggone linebackers, what he does with these linebackers is incredible. And they look a whole lot better. I'm telling y'all right now, I said it before, Matt Eberflus and Dan Quinn remind me a lot of each other. Even Dan Quinn wasn't really just big on the 1-tech being that big 340, 350-pound nose tackle. That wasn't Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn was the first one that put Mozzie on this train of getting to about 310. Dan Quinn likes his tackles to his tackles to get up the field. It seems like Matt Eberflus wants his tackles to get up the field. He wants those guys to get up the field to help put pressure, not just in the run game, but in the passing game. So maybe Flus is seeing this the same way with Mozzie. No, we're good because the one thing we didn't give Dan Quinn was linebackers. Leighton Vander Esch was the best he had. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb. I think the Cowboys right now with Maurice Leofau, Jack Sanborn, Kenneth Murray Jr., I would take all three of those over Leighton Vander Esch. And that's not a knock on Leighton Vander Esch. I would just take all three of them. So I'm telling us, maybe the Cowboys say we're gonna run with it like this. We'll see over the next few days. But It looks like Mozzie is going to make the team. Period. In the story. You don't cut the Don, what was it, Don Broker? Oh, Nick Broker? You don't cut Nick Broker and say we're cutting Mozzie. No, Mozzie's making this thing. And again, for the people who don't like Jerry Jones, I got news for you again. Mozzie Smith is on this team because of Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones likes Mozzie Smith. Y'all gonna have to learn Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones loves his players. Jerry Jones loves his players. And I'm telling you right now, Jerry Jones loves Mozzie Smith. Jerry Jones and that front office, they want to be right on Mozzie Smith. They're not ready to give up on him. They're saying he's a first-round draft pick that maybe he just needs, maybe Matt Eberflus, and White Cotton and these guys can work with him, and they love this guy. I'm just telling you. Man, we just got to be more selective about the way we talk about things. But, again, the Cowboys, Cowboys ain't tripping on this. Again, and then we got Lyle Collins. I want to look at this thing on Lyle Collins real quick. Lyle Collins is in pretty good shape in case nobody don't know it. The Cowboys, of course, have released Lyle Collins, and it looks like they're saying that the Atlanta Falcons may be interested in Lyle Collins. Yep, looks like the Falcons may be interested in Lyle Collins. Says the countdown to the roster cut-down deadline has begun. The Atlanta Falcons have some major decisions to make with their own team, but the organization should also have its eyes on players that hit the waiver wire from other rosters. One intriguing name popped up on the list of released players from the Dallas Cowboys over the weekend, Lyle Collins. And so people are saying that maybe the Falcons should be looking at Lyle Collins. We'll see. And so the article is based around, could they be looking at Lyle Collins? It says if the regular season started today, Elijah Wilkinson, Brandon Parker, or Jack Nelson would start at right tackle for the Falcons, while head coach Raheem Morris tried to convey a positive message about the depth Friday. That group producing a starter is less than ideal, especially given that right tackle is quarterback Michael Penix Jr.'s blind side. And this becomes dangerous because most teams, they're more concerned about the blind side, which is the left tackle, which is the reason why it's the highest paid position on the offensive line typically. Well, now they're worried about a right tackle, which, boy. Collins may be what the doctor ordered for him, or at least better than what they have right now. It says Collins hasn't played since 2022. So the Cowboys have cut him. He's played both tackle and guard in his career in the 2025 season. Of course, Collins took some snaps with the Cowboys. I do think the Cowboys are still interested in bringing him back in because I also think they believe that Collins, even from the practice squad, can help some of the younger players. So I think the Cowboys, I'm not going to be shocked that the Cowboys are going to be looking at bringing Lyle Collins back. But again, this is kind of where they're talking about with Lyle Collins. I'd be interested to know if there's other teams that are interested in Lyle Collins too. We will see how that turns out over the next, we'll see how it turns out over the next few days. But again, it says Atlanta began its roster cut Sunday, releasing 12 players. I'm telling y'all, that team that the Atlanta Falcons put out against the Dallas Cowboys, that thing was, I don't know what else to tell us, man. What I saw from James Houston, it wasn't that game that convinced me. James Houston was already showing out. Training camp and in the game, one of the first two games he played, James Houston, I was already convinced. It wasn't that game. Falcons were terrible. They released 12 players. But that is kind of where we are. That is kind of where we are with the Cowboys and the roster cuts. We'll just keep our ears and eyes open. Y'all let me know if something comes down. But as I see it right now, the Cowboys is hallelujah stated. I think it was a great comment. We're playing roster gymnastics right now. Everybody else is trying to figure out. Y'all think some people are getting this wrong. They're saying other teams are trying to figure out how to get better. The Cowboys are saying, no, we're already better because they are. There was really, in the grand scheme of things, no matter how much that Brian Schottenheimer was talking about competitiveness, the reality is there was really only about 8 roster spots available. There was only about 8 roster spots. The first and the second teams were pretty much already established. Already established. So the Cowboys are not doing what a lot of teams are doing. All right, hold on a second. I'm trying to multitask. I got my son's dog in here now. Now she wants to get out. Hold on. So this is kind of where the Cowboys are. All right, let's move right along because I want to get to some of these interviews. Dak Prescott, they've released an interview with Dak Prescott. Definitely want to hear that and analyze what's going on. I always want to hear what's going on with Ford. I always want to hear what he has to say. Yeah, we got some good ones up. We got Ford. Yep, and since we got the Trayvon Diggs thing coming up next, matter of fact, we're going to go to the Trayvon Diggs thing that I want to talk about. And Trayvon Diggs actually has an interview. So I'm very interested to hear what Trayvon Diggs is saying. Let me get a couple of super chats out of the way. I appreciate y'all rocking with me today. Let's get Jamal Ism in. He said, what up, G? Could you please talk more about Shador? Why are they doing him like that? Boy, oh, I would, Jamal, but you know this Let's Talk Cowboys. Appreciate that super chat. But let me say this. Jamal Ism, Shador Sanders is going to be the next Dak Prescott. There are going to be people that are going to continue to hate on this man no matter what he does. And I believe a part of it is because they don't like his father. I think they don't like the confidence that Deion has. I don't think they like the air, as he said, don't let his confidence, whatever it does to you, don't let his confidence bother you. Deion is what he is. And Deion has instilled that in his sons. And with Shador, you think about how he came out in his first preseason game with his music playing, his own song playing, and with his film crew playing, and the chains, and he's all confident. That's him. I know Cam Newton says we don't want a quarterback acting like a defensive back because he's got that Deion Sanders swag. We'll see, but that is what it is to me. The only thing that would matter to me, he's very good in the community. For the most part, he's well behaved. We had the one speeding incident. But let's see what he does on the field. And from what I saw in that first game on the field, Shador is the real deal. Shador Sanders is the real deal. So if I'm I think Shador is going to be fine, but I can tell you this, they're going to hate on him for the remainder of the time. And the Cleveland Browns, it's a poorly ran organization. They have 5 quarterbacks over there. They don't know what the heck they're doing. I feel so bad for Myles Garrett. I can't feel bad for him from a money standpoint because he's going to be rich he's got generational wealth. But as far as winning goes, forget it. Not happening. All right, then let me read Calvin Richard, then we're going to go to Trayvon Diggs. Calvin Richard said he believes Mozzie deserves at least one more year, now or never. And I believe Jerry Jones thinks the same thing. Brian Broaddus made a statement that some people don't like. Brian Broaddus kind of alluded to that on any other team, Mozzie probably would be cut, but the Joneses want him there. Hold on a second. My son's dog. Oh, she started whining. I don't know if y'all are familiar with these doggone Frenchie dogs. These are some of the most emotional dogs I've ever seen in my life. I mean, they're almost like human beings the way they are emotional. So I'm telling him to come get her out of here. Or we start hearing her crying and whining. You'd think it was a baby in here. So that's kind of where I am on this part, on some of this stuff. But again, man, the Cowboys have a very good roster. And they're just trying to figure out how to keep them. And they're playing these games trying to keep them in. All right, let me move all the way down here. Then we're going to get to Trayvon Diggs. BK Cowboy fan, what's going on? He said, Mr. G, forget about it. He said that third game, the Cowboys beat a team that have guys selling cars. Boy, boy, BK Cowboy. He said the Cowboys be the team to have guys selling cars, insurance, teaching school, and working at Walmart. And that's the game that the Cowboys justified that Joe Milton is the backup quarterback for the Cowboys. That's crazy to me. All right, let's see here. Tony Luzado, he said, gee, worried about Micah turning into a Jimmy Butler situation. Tell me we have a contingency plan. I'm in Miami and it flattened the team. Oh, man. Tony, appreciate that super chat. I have an entire section we're going to talk about Micah Parsons. I have an entire section. This Micah Parsons thing, I'm thinking it's probably going to be solved here pretty soon. But I'm glad we don't have anything else going on like preseason or anything like that. Micah, this is going to be a little bit different going forward, so we'll see how everything happens. But I'm hoping that we get this thing figured out real quick. Lead time, baby. Exactly, lead time. We added 4 former #1 picks in the offseason. Yes, sir. We're not trying to figure out how to bring people in. We're trying to figure out how to keep these guys we brought in. That's what we're trying to figure out. Blue Star, he said, Daniel Ranger correct, but he's back, so I'm looking forward to him playing again. He's our best cornerback in our team. Okay, we're talking about Trayvon Diggs. Okay, we're going to hear from Trayvon Diggs in just a second. Newhouse fam, what's going on with you? The regulator up in here. He says, it is BS and astonishing that Booth and Mozzie is wild. Same old Cowboys. Newhouse fam, let me tell you something. Booth making this team is insane to me. Booth making this team is insane to me. It is. It's insane to me. This dude, all the way from last season to the preseason, has been getting post toasties. And then he has a good quarter against the Ravens. Against Cooper Rush, by the way. I'm not trying to bash Cooper Rush, but he doesn't have the strongest of arms. He gets a pick 6 and return it, and all of a sudden, we're keeping him. Not good enough. He's one of those players I would actually be looking to replace him. I would be looking to replace him. Randy McIntyre, he said, let's go get Shador in trade for backup. You know what? Don't think that's going to happen. But if he gets out there in that open market, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys wanted him. Sleazy, Shiloh mentality not ready. Well, I know this Shiloh definitely ain't ready. But Shiloh might make somebody's practice squad. I think Shiloh can play in this league. Shiloh just going to have to learn, man. He's immature. He's going to have to learn, bro. You can't do that on this level. Man, one thing I know about this level, they will use your past against you until you put it in your rear view. And we know about some things that have happened with Shiloh, and this is why they're going to be eating up Shiloh too. I've never seen it before. An undrafted free agent gets let go by the team, and it made headline news. Yeah, it's Deion Sanders' son. That's why. It's exactly why it happened. Bruce, appreciate that super chat. Bruce said the Cowboys are 7-point underdogs to the Eagles. I'm tempted never bet online. He said, talk me down, G. Hey, man, let me tell you, I don't gamble, but I can tell you this. There are going to be some people, and I'm not encouraging gambling. There are going to be some people that are going to make a whole lot of money. Because I got a strange feeling that this Cowboys-Eagles game could get out of hand real quick. Either way. It wouldn't surprise me if the Cowboys came out and literally blew the doors off the Eagles. It would not surprise me. The Cowboys offense is really that good. The Cowboys offense is that good. Eberflus is back where he needs to be, a simple defensive coordinator. Man, it wouldn't surprise me the Cowboys blew the absolute doors off the Eagles. It wouldn't surprise me. Niecy says Shador's being Prime. Prime had his own rap song too. Must be the money. Yep. Niecy, a lot of the stuff we're seeing from seeing from Shador, you and I, we're not surprised because we saw it from Deion Sanders. But I tell you what it's telling me also, Niecy. It's telling me that some people who grew up watching Deion Sanders, some of the people that grew up watching the swag that Deion Sanders had, there are some people out there who absolutely hated it. They absolutely hated it. And they're taking it out on his sons. In particular, Shador. Not so much Shiloh. I understand why Shiloh got cut, but they're taking it out on his sons. I think that's kind of where we are. And so Shador is going to be the next Dak Prescott. I promise us this. He'll be the next Dak Prescott. They're going to destroy him every time something comes up. Every move he makes, they're going to destroy him. Timothy Govin, appreciate that super chat. All right, so let's mosey on over here to Trayvon Diggs, y'all. I want to hear what Trayvon, let's see. Let's see what this article is saying. And then we're going to go to the Trayvon Diggs interview. All right, let's check it out. Trayvon Diggs. Let me tell y'all something. I hope Trayvon Diggs is so offended by what Jerry and Steven said about him. I hope he's so offended that Trayvon Diggs has the greatest season of his career. I hope Trayvon Diggs comes out here and has the greatest season of his career. I'm talking tackling, pass breakups, interceptions, pick sixes. I want Trayvon Diggs to have a season that says to Jerry and Stephen Jones, look at me now. I want that season. I want that season from Trayvon Diggs. I want it. Because if Trayvon Diggs has that season, that's telling me the Cowboys are not only going to the playoffs, but we're going to be winning in the playoffs. Not because of Trayvon Diggs, but because of how Trayvon Diggs will be playing. He'll be a part of it. I want Trayvon Diggs to have an incredible season. I do. Because the best revenge is success. That's the best revenge. Because I don't think the Cowboys have been actually wrong in some of the things they've been saying about Trayvon Diggs. There are people out there, the Joneses, Trayvon Diggs, an apology. Hold on, pump the brakes. Haven't even seen the man play yet. Let's see what he looks like when he gets on the field first. And even then, who says had he not came in and worked with the Cowboys training staff that he wouldn't have came back early? Because I can tell you this, the one thing the Cowboys training staff is good at is getting players back early. That's actually never been the problem. The problem is, do they remain healthy? And this is where I'm concerned about Trayvon Diggs. I hope Trayvon Diggs remains healthy. I want him to play the whole season. Praying. Pure health, greatest season of his career. We need it from him. We need Deron Bland out here trying to prove to the world that I deserve a big contract. Okay, come on out here and prove it. Prove it. So Trayvon Diggs looks like he's back. Ace Wade, he said, I'm a Miami Heat fan. I can tell you it won't get any near that bad. Yeah, I think the Cowboys got a plan as it pertains to Micah Parsons. It's going to come to fruition here in the next couple of days or in the next couple of weeks. But it says here about Trayvon Diggs, says Cowboys cornerback Trayvon Diggs has passed his physical and has moved off the physically unable to perform list and onto the team's active roster. says Diggs, who suffered a season-ending injury last season, was placed on PUP at the start of training camp in Oxnard. Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer said on Saturday that he expects Diggs to be on the 53-man roster and could be on the practice field ramping up as early as this week. Yeah. He said, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about how hard Trayvon Diggs has been working. Schottenheimer said, he's doing an incredible job with Britt Brown. These things don't happen if he's not putting in the time and the effort to do the stuff that he's been doing. Really proud of him. While Diggs passing his physical is a good sign, it's not a surefire confirmation that he will play week 1 against the Eagles. That said, it is a step in the right direction for that scenario being a realistic possibility. And of course, with Cowboys' room lacking depth because of widespread injuries dating back to last season, Diggs' return, whenever it may be, is a more than welcome sign for Dallas, especially welcoming considering Diggs received surgery on his knee just 7 months ago. So, again, as it pertains to Diggs, my issue is not Diggs coming back. My issue is Diggs, will he remain? That's my fear when it comes to Diggs. Because Diggs came off of injury last year and he didn't make it. So my concern for Diggs is Diggs cannot avoid contact. A quarterback can avoid contact. Diggs can't avoid contact. He can't. So the real test for Diggs, again, as I've said before, the real test for Diggs is not the comeback. The test for Diggs is can he remain? What happens the first time he falls on the ground, falls on the knee, gets blocked maybe on the knee, running full speed, change of direction, not by him, but his reaction to the change of direction by quicker wide receivers? What happens on just continuous contact throughout a game? What does Trayvon Diggs looks like then? That's my concern with Trayvon Diggs. But I'm hoping, man, he remains healthy. I'm hoping that he goes out there again and he absolutely balls out of his mind and be the Trayvon Diggs he was before he got that contract. Because in the grand scheme of things, we've had a possibility of 35 games, if I'm not mistaken, since Trayvon Diggs got that contract. Trayvon Diggs has only played in, I'm thinking, 13 games over 35 games. $97 million contract. And he's gotten all of the guaranteed money. And he didn't play during the guaranteed money barely. Contracts are not about what a player has done. Contracts are about what a player can potentially do. And so far, the Cowboys have not gotten any of the worth out of the Trayvon Diggs contract, whether anyone likes what I'm saying or not. Don't tell me what Trayvon Diggs did before the contract. That's not what I'm paying him for. And I'm not paying him. Let me correct myself. The Cowboys aren't paying Trayvon Diggs for what he did before he got the contract. You're paying him for what he's going to do in the future. That's what you're supposed to be paying him for. It's the name of the game. It's the chances that you take. But we have to understand this stuff when you sign players. So it is what it is. I agree with my sister Katharina Kish. She said, hit that like button already. Don't let the door hit you on the way out here. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Make sure you share this content. Let's go. So Trayvon Diggs, again, Trayvon Diggs is back. Now, let's check out Trayvon Diggs in the interview over here.
In your first practice back from your injury?
I felt good. Just being out there was a blessing. Just being able to go out there with the team and, practice with my brother. So, that felt really good.
What do you feel the odds are that you take the field against the Eagles in Philly?
I think I need a couple more practices to see, where I'm at, just going full speed at things. I feel like really, really good. So, just as far as the repetition and just getting familiar with the game. So I don't know yet, but, The more that I practice, we got a break. I'm going to stay here and, continue to work and just, try to make it at least the first game.
How comfortable are you in Matt Eberflus's scheme, new system this year?
Real comfortable. I like it a lot. Putting me in a lot of positions to make plays. It's a really good system, and I like it a lot.
What is the biggest challenge in terms of getting your body ready for an actual game?
The conditioning, mainly. It's different, just, working out with yourself and then having to cover someone, chase someone, run after the ball. Just that I feel like that's the main thing. So in practice, I make sure that I'm always running to the ball, always running, doing extra gases, doing everything I can just to be physically conditioned for, the game and stuff.
See, and that's what I'm talking about. See, this is the biggest issue for Trevon Diggs. This is the part people don't understand. The challenge is not the comeback. The challenge is, can I remain? This is going to be the challenge for Dak Prescott. The comeback isn't the problem for Dak Prescott. The issue is can Dak Prescott remain? Can he remain? Dak Prescott can avoid some hits better than someone like Trevon Diggs because Dak Prescott's position doesn't require him to make contact. Dak Prescott can play in a very, very smart manner to where Dak Prescott can, fall down, some slides. I mean, different ways of keeping yourself out of harm's way. Trevon Diggs, at the end of the day, man, I'm just telling you, if I'm somebody playing against the Dallas Cowboys, DaRon Bland is going to have a pretty easy day if it's me. DaRon Bland is going to probably have a pretty easy day until Trevon Diggs says otherwise. Because if I'm a team going up against the Cowboys today, I'm going right at Trevon Diggs. I'm going right at him. It only makes sense. I'm going right at him. So this is why what he's doing, he knows what this is. I got to really test myself. I got to put myself to the test of getting to the ball. Put myself to the test. And the one place he's not going to be able to put himself to the test in the next 10 days, and he's not going to know this until he plays. Contact. Contact. What is he like after contact? How does he feel after contact? How does he feel after the Philadelphia Eagles if he plays in that game? And it doesn't really matter the game. But let's use Philly as an example. Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to run a sweep with Saquon Barkley, and they're going to run it right at Trevon Diggs. What does he do? What does he do? What does he do with that major contact? What does he do? That's the part he can't test out right now. But he's got right now, what he's saying is perfect, man. You got to test your body out. You got to see, how do you feel? And you can get in some, a few collisions, a few light collisions. You're not going to be trying to knock somebody's lights out or anything like that. But Trevon Diggs has got to kind of test where he is. Because I'm telling y'all right now, the Philadelphia Eagles game, it is a preview of the playoffs. And not of the playoffs of whether or not the Cowboys play the Eagles. But it's a preview for the Cowboys of this is what a playoff team looks like. This is this year's Super Bowl, last year's Super Bowl winner. They're going to be at an intensity level. The Cowboys Eagles is going to be playoff atmosphere. It's playoff atmosphere. This game is not just Cowboys versus Eagles on Thursday night. It's not just the opening game of the season. This is the Cowboys with Dak Prescott back, Trevon Diggs back, Micah Parsons on a brand new deal, brand new coaching staff, brand new everything installed, whole bunch of new players, potentially great players, going up against the Super Bowl winner. Going up against the Super Bowl winner. Jerry Jones trying to prove that we can put together a Super Bowl level roster. Can we stop the run? Will we be able to run the ball? What will George Pickens look like? This game, the magnitude of this game is astronomical. So Trevon Diggs has got to prepare himself for that type of atmosphere. What does he look like in this type of game, this level of a game, the contact, the physicality, everything, the intensity on the line? So this is where he is. I'm glad this is kind of where they are, testing him out to see, is he going to be ready? And, of course, if I just kind of know the Cowboys, Cowboys are saying, yeah, man, you ready whether you ready or not. You ready. If you ready, you ready. Cowboys going to let him go. I'm not going to be surprised.
Consider yourself a fast healer because it was always projected you would come back a little bit later and you come back a little earlier than people thought.
I feel like, you put in the work, you're going to get out what you put in. So, I think that I put in the work for it, and just being able to, have the opportunity to even come back, just a blessing from God. And, I'm just truly thankful, just him watching over me and, getting me back.
Can you compare where you are coming back from the ACL as compared to coming back to this at this point going into a season? Is it similar or different?
Yeah, similar. Like with my ACL, I felt comfortable too going into the season as well. So, I just feel like, the work that I put in this time was a little bit more, and it felt better.
So everything's been said about your rehab and recovery and how you approach things.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a producer who hates AI,
Yeah, man, I'm happy that Trayvon Diggs is saying a lot of the right things.
I think it was more so just proving myself that I can get back out there. I really don't think that it's about anybody else. At the end of the day, I got to go out there and perform. I got to go out there and make sure that I'm available, to perform. Just put in the work, keep my head down, and people gonna have their opinion regardless. So whether it's good or bad, you can't always listen to the outside noise, and just really just focus on you and focus on what you need to do every day to be successful.
This is the kind of stuff we want to hear from Trayvon Diggs. This is what we want to hear. He's got his mind right. He's focused, pushing out the outside noise. And don't allow people to try to turn you against Jerry and Stephen Jones. I'm telling y'all, the best revenge is success. The best revenge is success. You don't have to in a sport where it's about a meritocracy. Football is not about talking. Football is about doing. It's talking and doing. Can you back up anything that has been said, or can you prove people wrong? This is where Brian Schottenheimer is going to have to me, from the head coach position, this is where Brian Schottenheimer's got to learn. Because Brian does a lot of talking, and Brian, I pride myself on being a great communicator, transparent, and all this stuff. But you got to make sure everything you say you do. Because we live in an age where they're always going to say, you said this, what happened? So Trayvon Diggs, choosing his words very carefully. He's just focused on getting back out there, and it seems to me he's focused on being out there and being the best version of himself. I absolutely love everything he's saying. And don't let people bait you into, you remember what Jerry and Steven said? What do you have to say about that? Nothing. I have nothing to say about it. I love what he said. It's not about them. It's about me. And at the end of the day, neither one of them are on that field performing. It's him. I love what he's saying.
And that's kind of why you went to Miami, because you was focusing on doing what's best for you.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, I have no issues with, the training staff or nothing. Me and Britt are cool. That's my guy, we go back and forth, we have our differences, but, he just wants the best for me. He wants me to be out there, and that's ultimately my goal as well. I want the best for myself, and, I want to be out there as well. So, it was never nothing against, the Dallas Cowboys and the program. I just felt like I just needed to take, advantage and take initiative for me and my career.
Could you kind of take us behind the curtain a little bit about what you were able to do to curate specifically workouts for you in Florida and why that was beneficial for you?
Just working out with Dr. Reef. It was more specific, and, just the rehab of it all and just the strengthening and, the conditioning of it. I just seen him, bring my brother back fast. I see CD goes down there as well, and, it's all great reviews. So, I decided to go out there and see, and, it worked out.
Have you talked to the team about the salary reduction? Do you think they will still do that?
I don't know. It is what it is at this point. if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. You know, I just got to make sure, you know, I go out there, put on my best performance.
The fact that you're here, is that making a statement to them to say, hey, look, regardless of if I was here or Florida, look at my man, I'm 153, earlier than what you thought?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, you know, definitely the work that I put in shouldn't go discredited, but, you know, at the end of the day, rules is rules, contracts is contracts, and, you know, I got to live whatever decision that is.
Was this
See, it sounds like to me Trayvon Diggs has been talking to somebody with some maturity. I told y'all before, social media will have you broke, divorced, and single, and depressed. He's not listening to all these people. I mean, we got these people who always trying to encourage players to be antagonistic against their own organization, be a problem, prove this and show them this and blah, blah, blah. We always got these people out there with that noise, not understanding that these guys also are on social media. And I hope a lot of them are smart enough to not take some of that stuff to heart. Somebody with some sense has been talking to him. This don't sound like the Trayvon Diggs at the beginning of the training camp that was in a co-interview with Micah Parsons. This don't sound like the same Trayvon Diggs. No, this seems like a Trayvon Diggs that is saying the right things. He's talked to somebody. They're like, hey, understand the situation here, man. You have no more guaranteed money. So this is, in essence, possibly your last year with the Cowboys. Do you want to play with the Cowboys going forward, or do you not want to play with the Cowboys going forward? If you want to play with the Cowboys going forward, you need to make sure you don't do anything as much as it applies to you. You don't do anything to burn any bridges, destroy any relationships, disrupt the team, bring shame to the coaching staff or the training staff. You don't do any of those things. You want to be the model citizen. Why? Because if you want to stay with the Cowboys, maybe the Cowboys come back and rework your deal and they give you some more guaranteed money. Or other teams are watching you, and maybe those other teams will want to bring you in to be a part of their team in the future based on your character and your play on the field. Thank you, God. Somebody has talked to this young man, because some of the stuff I was hearing early and even some of the stuff I heard last year, I've always kind of been worried about the way he talks. Sometimes I've thought in the past he's been a very divisive type of person in the way that he talks. But are we hearing how he's talking? He's talking like somebody on a mission. Somebody that somebody has said something to and has put some sense in his head, and not listening to some of these doggone people out here in the media and on social media always trying to tell Dallas Cowboy players to go against your own ownership and your own team. It's crazy. That's why I wonder sometimes if people actually hate this team when they're talking like that. It's crazy. No, this is exactly how it should be sounding.
So is your timetable to get back at this point?
Yeah, basically between, you know, the first and the third week, that was my timetable for myself. So, you know, I just wanted to make sure I did everything I can just to be able to just have that opportunity just to be here. So.
As you watch training camp practices and the preseason games, there are a couple of young guys, not just rookies, but young veterans who really made strides that you think can be real key contributors this year.
Yeah, 100%. I like all the guys, honestly. Like, everyone does a good job. And I feel like we're more together, more brotherhood, more just like a family, you know? So when you have that, especially the locker room, you got everybody, you know, playing ping pong with each other, socializing, talking, and just, you know, it's more together. And that just plays a big factor in offense and the defense and as a team. So, you know, I feel like that's the most important part, and I feel like we got that piece down.
As you've been getting your knee back and ready and healthy, have you also been studying the Eagles at all, like their receivers or tendencies, what they've done in the preseason with a new coordinator and things like that too, or has it just been about your knee?
Me specifically?
Yeah.
Have I or as a team?
You.
Have I? Yeah, of course. Been playing the Eagles twice a year for my whole career. So, I'm familiar with those guys. I'm familiar with their receivers. I'm familiar with the quarterbacks. So, it's just refreshing, going over things that I know and things that I see, things that I can introduce to the coaches that I've seen and that I know, just working together that way. So, yeah.
Can you be ready in 10 days, or do you need more time?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let me tell you, though, there's a difference in Diggs and Dak Prescott. In case you didn't know, Diggs has no more guaranteed money on his contract. Dak Prescott has a ton of money left on his contract. Diggs has no more guaranteed money. This is literally, he is either going to be here next year or he's not. The Cowboys saved $13 million by releasing Trayvon Diggs at the end of this season. That's why I'm talking about Trayvon Diggs from the standpoint of, the way what I was saying about the way he's carrying on. This is the way he should, because at the end of the day, he may be somewhere else next year. Cowboys already got Savon Revel Jr. I got a strange feeling next year the Cowboys draft is going to be in the first 3 rounds, one tech, cornerback, running back, whatever order they choose. But I guarantee you those will be the 3 positions they will be hot on. Because again, Trayvon Diggs, there's no more guaranteed money. You got to even ask yourself, even Trayvon Diggs in a sense. Trayvon Diggs put himself in a predicament. Because, hallelujah, you think about this. Trayvon Diggs, no more guaranteed money. So you're telling me the Cowboys could basically cut him at any time next year and the rest of the contract is void. And then you got to ask yourself, then if the Cowboys were to start letting him play on those non-guaranteed seasons, if I'm a betting man, he probably has in his contract that if he was to get hurt at some point during the season, during those non-guaranteed seasons, that season would be fully guaranteed. I don't think the Cowboys are going to take the risk. I don't think the Cowboys are going to take the risk. We've seen this happen before. The Cowboys have you. Your guaranteed money is up. You have a clause in your contract that says if you get hurt, you get a fully guaranteed season the next season, and the Cowboys say, no can do, and they cut you. Dak Prescott, on the other hand, Dak Prescott has 3 years with a ton of guaranteed money left on his deal. They're not the same.
One more time?
Can you be ready in 10 days for the Eagles game, or you need more time than that?
Hungry Root is the easiest way to eat healthy. Hungry
Like I said, I got to practice, see how I feel, get out there, run around, really, put my foot in the ground and dig and drive and just go. And conditioning is really the main thing. So, if all is that good and all that checks out, probably could be out there.
What do you plan to do in the practice?
Friday.
Tell them, Diggs, don't commit to nothing.
How close do you think Micah will be?
I don't know. I'm not him at the end of the day. I just hope, we get everything worked out, get everything, situated. All the guys miss him. Everybody wants him out there, so I just hope, everything gets handled so we can just go out there and win.
You're pretty familiar with his workouts. How much prep do you think he would need in order to actually get back on the field?
He actually works out all the time. Like, even when we were in training camp, he would wake up early in the morning, run, lift weights. He's getting in the sauna. I'm getting in the sauna with him. He goes home when we're home. He works out. So, he does everything that he can, just about everything can that, instead of being on the field. So, I know that, he's working and he wants to get out there bad. I know what type of person he is. I know what type of hard worker he is. So, I just know he wants to be out there.
He asked to be traded, but you think he wants to be part of this team?
Most definitely. Like I've heard him say before, he plays the game, for us. We go out there sweating, blood, sweat, tears. We work out together, training together. So, it's really, him being with us at the end of the day. So I know for sure he wants to be out there with us and, just helping his team win. This is home, like this is his family. So why wouldn't he want to be here?
For you, last question, please.
Well, I guess the reason why they're asking you when you say why wouldn't he want to be here is because he put up a statement saying he no longer want to play for the Cowboys anymore. So again, we already know it was just a negotiating tactic. He's already taken his Cowboys off his social media, and so we'll see what else. And there's another thing now that he's doing that is absolutely crazy. And we're gonna talk about that after this Trayvon Diggs thing.
Physically, do you feel like you have any limitations, or is it just a matter of ramping back up?
Physically, no, I don't have no limitations. It's really just ramping up the conditioning part, getting back to football speed, getting back to in-game speed, and, that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Trayvon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was everything you want to hear from Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs, in that interview, said everything right. He didn't write no checks that he couldn't cash. He said everything right. I don't know who he's been talking to. Please keep talking to him. Please keep talking to him. We need more players to talk to the right people. Because I'm telling you, this social media era will corrupt you. Have you out here acting reckless and doing dumb stuff. Sometimes your agent will, and is in the case of Micah Parsons, at least I just want to assume that a lot of this stuff he's doing is his agent, because if it's him, it is very immature. But his agent or somebody has him doing some very, very dumb stuff. But Trayvon Diggs said everything right. And even before I heard the interview, I am rooting like crazy for Trayvon Diggs. I'm rooting like crazy for him. I hope he has an incredible, like I said before, I hope he has an incredible season. And I hope he has a season that is so good that revenge is the greatest success. Excuse me. I hope he has a season that's so good that it helps us to get to the playoffs, win playoff games, and hopefully win a Super Bowl. I hope Trayvon Diggs has that type of season to where he's going to have long-term health, and maybe the Cowboys come back, rework his deal, and maybe you give him another couple of years. Because right as of now, I'm just telling this like it is. Trayvon Diggs actually is on his last year of the contract. There's no other way to slice it, because it's not even advantageous to Trayvon Diggs to play without guaranteed money. It's really not, and it's not advantageous for the Cowboys, because again, if he has some kind of clause in his contract to where if he gets hurt and he gets another year, you're done. You're committed to him again, and he's injured. So I'm hoping the best for him. I hope everything works out. What's going on, Lisa Worley? I see you, Susan, putting in work in that chat. I appreciate you. I'm with you though. On Booth, I don't understand. Newhouse fam, I saw where Newhouse fam had alluded to it too. It is bananas to me. It is absolutely bananas to me that Booth is literally going to make the team based on a pick six in a preseason game, even though he looked terrible the previous game, if I'm not mistaken, and got toasted all last season. Lee Time, he said, Jerry tries to get a ring out you before he pay you. That way he has the option to re-sign you or let you go. That leads to deadlines make deals. Yes, sir. My man Derek Posey up in here. What's going on? You ain't getting fined. What's going on? Good to see you up in here. Boy, I'm telling you. But hey, I like everything I just heard from Trayvon Diggs. Sounds like some maturity to me. Very much pleased with what he said. That's the type of stuff that brings a team together. And that's the kind of stuff that brings the right kind of attention to a team. Okay, I want to cover this thing with Micah Parsons, and then we're going to get to the segment of, we're going to talk about, Tyler Guyton news. That's actually really quick news. Again, as it applies to Trayvon Diggs coming back early, it don't seem like Britt and those guys have any problem getting a player back early, because they have been working with Trayvon Diggs. He gave the training staff credit, but they've been working exclusively with Tyler Guyton, and looks like Tyler Guyton is going to probably, more than likely, I believe, Tyler Guyton is more than likely going to play against the Philadelphia Eagles. Yep. I believe Tyler Guyton is going to be playing against the Eagles. It says here the same is true for Guyton, who had a scare earlier in camp with a knee injury that was thought to be severe initially, but ended up only sidelining him a few weeks. The Cowboys coaching staff have lauded Guyton for how he's approached the recovery process, and he's seemingly reaping the benefits by being back out on the practice field. It says the Cowboys also got some good news in the tight end room, as both Luke Schoonmaker, concussion, and Brevin Spanford, ankle, were going through drills during the media viewing window. Spanford was in and out of a boot on his foot in Oxnard and had been slowly ramping up the cords off to the side. Talks about here, too, also Jaden Blue, ankle injury. It says in Friday night's preseason game, it was one that he deemed to not be serious. That appears to be the case, as Blue practiced on Monday, although he did spend some time appearing to get his ankle taped at the beginning of practice. So, nevertheless, looks like the Cowboys training staff, they did make some changes to it in the offseason, and we're going to see if it pays off. But Guyton looks like he's going to be back early. It looks like Agent Zero is going to be back early. So, it's looking all good. It's looking all good. The Cowboys, I can tell they are trying to do everything they can do to get all hands on deck for the Philadelphia Eagles game. Because I'm telling y'all, that is going to be playoff atmosphere. I am so excited about that game. Boy, I do not know what to do. Next Thursday, it is so hard to believe that we are literally going to be playing the first game of the Cowboys season. I am so excited. I do not know about y'all, but I'm excited. Okay, let's get to this thing. Let's get to this thing with Micah Parsons. There is an issue going on with Micah Parsons, and I'm not sure that you guys are aware of this. It seems like there isn't a thing going on that, because, of course, we know Jerry Jones is saying that Micah Parsons can play we got him for 3 years, and he's under contract. We've been hearing all this language from Jerry Jones. Well, now it seems like, even though I'm still in the belief that this is all just much ado about nothing, just a bunch of drama as usual. But it seems like that Micah Parsons and his agent have come up with a counterplay to Jerry Jones saying that Micah Parsons is the Cowboys have him for 3 years, and so there's nothing he can do. He's got to play under contract. Well, Micah Parsons is saying that he has a back injury. Micah Parsons is saying he has a back injury. And Adam Schefter is reporting that there is no way to determine. Micah Parsons had an MRI. Well, of course it came back clear. Anybody surprised by that? Micah Parsons' MRI came back clean. And so now the question becomes that it's an injury that no one can detect. So if Micah Parsons has back tightness, is Micah Parsons going to use the counterplay of back tightness to still get his game checks from the Cowboys while not playing for the Cowboys until he gets his contract? And it definitely seems like that is going to be the play. Got some here from ESPN, and I'm thinking this is what they're talking about. I hadn't listened to it, so if it's not, we won't worry about it. But this is why I'm saying in the title, Stop Parsons. Because if this is the case with this Micah Parsons stuff, this is the kind of stuff to me that's actually not good for the team. That if you're going to get this type of stuff, it's just not good for the team. That there has to be a way that the Cowboys are going to have to figure out of how not to get this kind of stuff happening. because this is where this is stemming from. Micah Parsons, during the game, lying around and things of that nature on the sideline.
Laying on a sideline training table during the team's finale preseason game against the Falcons Friday without wearing his jersey in the midst of a contract dispute and a trade request. Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer confirmed he will talk to Micah about the situation and handle it internally. Parsons spoke on the moment on social media after it was clarified he wasn't lying down the whole game. I actually appreciate this. The way the media shapes perception and narratives is wild. And if he hadn't said anything, everyone would have just run with it. I never disrespect the guys out there fighting for their lives. Stephen A., I'll start with you. Was Micah lying down there on the sideline? Was that a bad look?
It was a bad look, but I do believe him. He wasn't trying to be disrespectful to his teammates at all. But I do think he's trying to be disrespectful to Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
I think that Jerry Jones
I
has
do
really
too.
raked his last nerves. I think that Jerry Jones and the things that he has said has really, really irked him and has offended him. He's been on the record. He's asked for a trade. He's scrubbed his, social media accounts, in terms of his association with the Cowboys. You got Falcons fans screaming at him to come to the Falcons, come play in Atlanta, and he's like, call me. He's walking into the game eating nachos. It's not a big deal. None of that is a big deal. Please don't get me wrong. But I don't believe for 1 second that he would ever disrespect his teammates like that or whatever. But Micah is a smart brother. He ain't stupid. And he can be calculating in his own right. And I think it's one of those situations where Jerry has really, really rubbed him the wrong way. And he wants to let Jerry know. He doesn't appreciate it. He doesn't like it. He doesn't respect it. And he is not beyond retaliating in his own way to irk this man as well. I think that's what it's about more than anything else. I don't think this would be something that we're leaning on him in terms of looking at his teammates in some kind of shady way or anything like that. His issue is not with them. His issue is not with anybody but Jerry Jones. And if you saw my interview with Jerry Jones and you heard what Jerry Jones had to say about him, about the agent, who he refused to really, really acknowledge that much, is one of the best agents in the business, and David Mugoletta. The bottom line is that there's a whole bunch of stuff that's rubbing Micah the wrong way, and I think you're seeing him act out in that regard. But I think it's directed at Jerry Jones and nobody else.
You go. Oh, yeah, I think, honestly, I don't care about Micah laying down on the table, whether he laid down for 20 minutes or he laid down.
So this is basically what they're talking about. And this is why I say for me, and I'll put this in the description or something if y'all want to watch the rest of it. I don't want to watch the rest of it. But this is what I'm telling you about what's wrong with this media, this new media. There is something wrong with this. There is something wrong with this. It's immaturity. This is Jerry Jones' team at the end of the day. And the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to respect the office. I'm going to respect the office. And I do believe that it is disrespectful to the team to disrespect the owner, because you're telling the team that if you're in a dispute with the owner, it's okay to disrespect the owner. I would never teach my children that. I would never teach anyone around me that. I wouldn't even teach my enemies that. That is not a way to treat your boss. That is not a way to treat the people who work at your job. Man, if you got a problem, you work that problem out in a way that is so mature that you show the people around you, this is how you work out issues. Not like little children, but like grown men. The best way you work with Jerry Jones, and even if you want to get at Jerry Jones, the best way you work with Jerry Jones is, even if it is affecting you, you never let him see you sweat. Nah, you're not going to see me for 1 minute laying on no table. You're not going to see me without my jersey on. You're not going to see me not being upbeat. You're not going to see me not being positive, trying to help my teammates in every way I can, as long as it don't put me in harm's way. You're not going to see me doing that. Why? Because at the end of the day, I'm a man and I'm a leader. Because if I'm a leader and this is how I lead, so this is how we want the whole team acting? So this is how we want the whole team acting every time they have a contract issue. This is how we want them responding. This new media, I don't think people hear how crazy they are to sit here and justify this type of behavior. Because somebody is not yet, let me underline yet, has not yet made you a multi-millionaire while you're under contract, already a millionaire, going to get $23 million this year. We're telling this player it's okay for you to act a fool because he has not extended you yet, even though you're under contract. That's crazy to me. I'm sorry, that's crazy to me. It's pure insanity. The Bible is right 100% of the time. We're in a time where people say right is wrong and wrong is right. There are people out there who applaud. They're applauding Ryan Clark. I appreciate Ryan Clark and some of the work that he does. And then there's other work that Ryan Clark does. And I'm like, this dude doesn't get it sometimes. You're teaching people this. This is not just isolated. Little children are watching this stuff. Teenagers are watching this stuff. Kids who play middle school football, high school football, that will very well make the pros one day and be in a similar situation. I pray they have their fathers in their life. I pray they have their mothers in their life. I pray they have mature people in their life that are telling them there is a way that you respond in every situation. And you don't respond like a child when you're playing grown men games. When you're playing grown men games, you play like a grown man. Man, this is childish to me, man. And I got news for us. This isn't distracting to the Dallas Cowboys unless he makes it distracting. There was no distractions at the Dallas Cowboys training camp until David Mulugheta, or Mughaleta. It sounds like Stephen A. Smith called him. I'm going to make sure. Maybe I'm wrong. But when Micah and his agent, there was no disruption in the media. There was nothing going on with the team. Everybody was talking about energy, camaraderie, family. Not one teammate complained until Micah Parsons put out a letter on an off day saying he no longer wants to be a Dallas Cowboy. Do y'all realize that's when this all really ramped up? Because up until that point, Jerry wasn't even saying a whole lot. Jerry was hardly saying anything about this. It was that move. There's just a way you're supposed to carry on. And I'm sorry, grown men, it's never a time to be a child when you're a grown man. It's never a child, never time to be a child. Man, you about to be a multimillionaire. Man, come on, man. And the fact we got other grown men co-signing this behavior. It's crazy, man. It's crazy to me. It's crazy talking. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I overstand it, actually. But I'm just saying I don't understand it because it's stupid to me. Let me read a couple comments I kind of saw and I liked them. Troy Williams says contracts are based on what you've done. No. Nope. Troy, they're not based on what you've done. The contract you got is based on what you've done. Because you were under contract when you did it. Nope. We're not paying you for what you've done. We're paying you for what we think you're going to do based on what you've done. Because if I'm gonna pay you for what you've done, and I don't, and if I've come up short in playoffs and haven't made the Super Bowl. Well, how much is that worth? I'm not giving you a multi-million-dollar contract for what you've done. I'm giving you a multi-million-dollar contract for what I believe you're going to do. That's why I'm giving you that contract. So Micah Parsons, even this year at $23 million or whatever it is, the contract is for what he's going to do this year. The extension is for what he's going to do that we haven't seen. And that's why that contract is such a gamble. Even I've even been hearing ex-players talk about this. Shannon Sharp was talking about it just the other day. No, contracts are not based on what you've done. Contracts are based on what they feel like you're going to do. What can you continue to do for us going forward? Because if it's based on what you've done, then there's only one quarterback that should be a multi-million-dollar quarterback, and that's Patrick Mahomes. All these other quarterbacks, maybe they should be multi-million, but nowhere in the range of Patrick Mahomes. Him, Stafford, Brady. Brady's gone. That's it. You don't get paid on what you've done. No, we appreciate what you've done. Now we're about to pay you based on what we think you're going to do. And that's the reason why a lot of times you see where players get cut because teams don't think they can do it anymore. Sometimes they get cut because of the salary cap and because this player is his value of what he can still do is so tremendous. Well, the salary cap says I can't do it. And in that case, then they say, we can't pay you based on what you're going to do. Because you're going to be so good going forward, we can't pay you. No, contracts are based on what you're going to do. Nobody is owed a contract. Joe Cap, he said, gee, stop babysitting these boys. That's what's wrong with them now. Oh, no, I'm not babysitting them. Trust me when I tell you. But I am saying that I do like what Trayvon Diggs is saying. I like what he's saying. But the issue is, Joe Cap, we got to see what he's going to do. And that's the issue. Tony Luzado, appreciate that 99-cent super chat. But again, Jerry and Steven and Brian Schottenheimer, they've got to stop Micah Parsons. This can't continue. I don't think it's going to continue anyway because I think the Cowboys are going to sign Micah Parsons. So I don't think it's going to continue, and I don't think we're going to have to worry about it. But you can't have Micah Parsons on the sideline in what's going to be literally one of the 5 biggest games of the Cowboys season. I'm thinking there's probably 5 just tremendous games. I think the Cowboys have 5 big-time, prime-time games. I can't have Micah Parsons on my sideline against the Philadelphia Eagles. No jersey, sad face, end of the bench, hand on his hand. I can't have anything negative that day. If Micah shows up, show up cheering. If Micah shows up, show up coaching even if you don't play. We need Micah to be a leader, and we really need him to be a leader even through everything that's going on. We need Micah Parsons to be a leader. Because if this team is truly going for a championship, then let's go for the championship. And let's stop all this childish stuff and let's get it done. I do believe the Cowboys are going to get Micah Parsons' contract done. But the media, and Micah Parsons, he says things about the media. But it's not just the bad media, because I don't think Michael disagrees with the media like the Stephen A. Smith and Ryan here. He doesn't disagree because this is how people do the media. When they're for you, you're not tripping on them. You're just tripping on the ones who are not for you. But in Michael's case, the ones who are for him are the ones who are actually doing the most damage. They're the ones doing the most damage. The one who encourage this type of behavior, who act like it's nothing wrong with it. They are a part of the problem. Because one thing that we do know about Micah Parsons, he does listen to the media. We've been knowing that about him for years. Him and Jerry Jones, they share a lot in common. This is why I think the reason why Jerry ain't letting this man go. They are very similar. Undoubtedly, they are very similar. They do a lot of things alike. Okay, let me read a super chat we got here. Superstar Guardian Ness, appreciate that super chat. So Hendricks got signed, which is no surprise. I don't think there was anybody who was going to touch Troy Hendricks. Hendrickson. I'm sorry, Trey Hendrickson. I don't think there was anybody that was going to touch Trey Hendrickson with a 10-foot pole, because this dude was just balling, man. This dude was balling. I mean, when you're talking about when you're talking about a dude that's gotten 17 and a half sacks in 2 seasons in a row, 35 sacks, Trey Hendrickson has as many sacks in 2 years as half the sacks that many of these guys have in 4. Hendrickson has been an absolute monster. Let's see what the deal is here. Since it is breaking news, and a lot of people, they're going to really go crazy now. I'm going to go over here on X in a moment, because I guarantee you, now that they've signed Hendrickson, there'll be a flood of people talking about, yeah, man, the Bengals signed Hendrickson, and the Cowboys still haven't signed Micah Parsons. It says here, Bengals and Trey Hendrickson have agreed in principle to a new 1-year deal, according to multiple reports. It will make Hendrickson the highest paid defender, one of the highest paid defenders of 2025, with a $14 million raise to $30 billion. Whoa! $30 million for 1 year. Wow. Skipped voluntary offseason, of course. We know that he kind of held in. He is now at the team facility ready to sign the deal and get to work ahead of the September the 7th opener. Hendrickson requested a trade. Same thing Micah did. He made it clear he would not play this season on his current deal, which was due to a base salary of $15.8 million with an $18.6 million salary cap hit. 4 consecutive Pro Bowls since joining the Bengals, 17 and a half sacks in each of the past 2 seasons. Man, Trey Hendricks has had a monster 2 seasons. He really has. He really has. And it says, and here we go with the media, Hendrickson's agreement leaves Cowboys edge rusher Micah Parsons as the league's only player currently holding in while seeking a new deal. And so this kind of, for me, says that, and I don't even think it's just based on Hendrickson. I just don't believe that the Cowboys are not going to sign Micah Parsons. Star Guardian said Jerry was waiting for Hendrickson signing that happened. We're going to see. And I do think, Star Guardian, a part of this too, I do think that this is about Micah Parsons' agent. And we're going to see if Jerry really sticks to his guns, because y'all already know this is going to come out. If Jerry moves off that number that he offered Micah Parsons, if Jerry moves off that number more than $1 million, everybody from this point forward, they just look at the Cowboys and say, okay, this is the game. Jerry Jones is going to tell you that he's not going to pay you. He's going to go out in the media. He's going to put up a fight. He's going to be rah, 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 this, that, and the other. And then when it's all said and done, Jerry Jones still going to pay you. So it don't matter. We just hold out. We get what we want. And we don't even worry about nothing that Jerry Jones is saying. Well, if Jerry Jones is going to do that, then you're going to get what comes to you. I mean, to me, I just think, and this is not about Micah Parsons, I just think that everything that Jerry said about David Mulugeta, he almost has to stand his ground. He almost has to stand his ground. So when this contract comes out, and I do think Micah gets signed here in the next week and the Cowboys are in crunch time because they're not playing next Sunday, they're playing next Thursday. So Micah Parsons should probably be signed no later than Monday. So the question becomes, who says uncle, who blinks first? And is the number the same number that Jerry said originally and they roll with that? Or does Jerry bow down and give more money? And again, it'll still be all good for the Cowboys because Michael's on the team. Michael will be extended. He'll play going forward. The Cowboys will be an elite pass rushing team with Micah Parsons and everything they've done on the edge. But it has future ramifications because it might be more of the same going forward with some of these agents with these long, drawn-out hold-ins until Jerry caves in because they're going to say, don't worry, because Jerry's going to cave in anyway. We'll see. But nevertheless, I am ready to get all of this behind us because I don't want to keep talking about this.
How anxious?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm excited.
10 days.
All right. And now to the man, the most hated quarterback I've ever seen in my life, and I don't understand it. Dak Prescott. Let's roll it.
It's the way how anxious you get started.
How anxious?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm excited. It's been a while since being out there, but a lot's went into it, getting back on the field, and then a lot's went in just this offseason. Obviously, the changes that we've had here, starting with the head coach to successful offseason to now feeling good about closing the book on training camp and moving forward and making this thing all about Philly and getting the ball rolling. So super excited. When did you start looking at Philly? Probably second preseason game as guys were watching whoever it was that we played. Started watching just some, Baltimore, there you go. Started watching just some Philly tape, whether it been, their playoff run last year or a couple of the games against us. Started that back, a while back.
Because, obviously 2020, 2021, I guess you come to the season without having training camp and playing the preseason. They give you confidence you can play without having those preseason snaps.
Yeah, for sure. Just the amount of games I've played in my career gives me that confidence. And not only that, the way that I practice, the preparation that I take. I treat every rep pretty much out there at practice like it's a game rep. Yeah, sure, there's times of, trying to make this throw that I may check down in game. But other than that, yeah, it's the same process. It's the same, checks, fundamentals. So it's just about making sure I do it right at practice. So therefore, it comes the game. It's not new.
You talked before with Coach McCarthy about the play caller purpose and things like that. With Shoddy, what do you guys have to learn about each other to kind of figure it out? Or is there anything you need to?
No, I think that's something that probably every quarterback and OC has is a purpose in the play. And so the play caller purpose, something with Shoddy, obviously we started way back in the offseason when we were putting the plays in, whether they're plays that carried over or they're new plays and new ideas, we came up with the purpose of it. And then, therefore, the nuances of it just depend on the game situation, the down and distance. And I think just during the week, those are the conversations that come up, as this is how it can change, whether first, second and short, a shot call type things of knowing when to be more aggressive than not. We'll get into that as the week starts.
Because he's been here for a couple of years, Shoddy, is that a little easier?
For sure.
For you?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think it's anything worth noting or saying it's going to be much different. As you said, he's been here before, was the key in installing some of the plays in the past, so he understands the importance of the play caller's purpose and me understanding the importance of knowing what he wants to do.
With coming off the hamstring tear, is there anything or how much changes with your footwork and kind of how you distribute weight coming off a lower body injury like that?
No, nothing. That's what the rehab process is for. That's been behind me since the offseason. Been for me, it's about doing more running than I've done in the past years, and whether it be at practice or just throughout the week, to make sure I'm ready for game one, whether it's a lot of running or whenever it is down the season, just making sure my body's ready for it.
Yeah, and Tyron Smith, if we don't remember, Tyron Smith had the same injury. And I think maybe Tyron Smith was actually torn off the bone. Tyron Smith tore that hamstring off the bone, and he came back and didn't have no problems. He didn't have any problems. If I'm not mistaken, and I'm pretty sure he didn't have any problems. Yeah, he tore the left hamstring, tore Tyron Smith. Let's flip over there real quick. Tyron Smith suffered a torn left hamstring, a severe injury involving a fracture of the knee from the hamstring tendon pulling off the bone. Yep. During a Dallas Cowboys practice on August 24, 2022. This injury required surgery and kept him out for several months, though he returned to practice in December 2022, playing in the latter part of the 2022 season. He actually went on to play another season. Yeah, he actually went on to play another season. I think Dak will be fine. I think Dak Prescott will be absolutely fine with that, so no big deal.
Playing in the preseason, and Schottenheimer's talked a lot about keeping it kind of vanilla with what he's shown on offense and that. What should Cowboys fans expect to see from this offense this year?
Yeah, an exciting offense. We've kept it vanilla for a reason. So excited about getting out there and putting it all on display next Thursday.
Obviously, like you said, you're looking forward to getting back out.
I'm telling y'all guys, I've said it once, I'll say it again. The Cowboys are going to throw everything and the kitchen sink against the Philadelphia Eagles. You watch what I tell you. Brian Schottenheimer is going to throw everything. And I mean everything. Boy, I'm telling you, I'm not going to be surprised if we see reverses, double reverses, flea flickers. I mean, Cavante Turpin lining up at quarterback. I'm not going to be surprised at anything we see against the Philadelphia Eagles, because I believe that Brian Schottenheimer understands the gravity of this game, and I believe that Brian Schottenheimer wants this to be a statement game. I don't believe he's taking it lightly. I can see the Cowboys, even with Micah Parsons lined up at the linebacker position, or James Houston at the linebacker position, Sam Williams at the linebacker position, them rushing from both edges in the linebacker position. I see the Cowboys unleashing every single thing they have against the Philadelphia Eagles. I would not be surprised if the first play of the game is Dak Prescott to George Pickens straight down the field jump ball. Let's see let's let the Eagles know this is the kind of night it's going to be. I don't think there's no way you open up that game. I think there's no way you should open up that game with a couple of run plays for Dak Prescott. No, you drop back and you let that thing rip to George Pickens and say, go get it. They're going to unleash everything on him. Yeah, I believe him. I think the Cowboys offense is going to be absolutely exciting.
Because it's been a while. How do you balance the challenge, if there's a challenge at all, with staying within yourself once you get out to Philly versus not kind of overextended because you're so ready to play ball again?
Yeah, I mean, that's the – when I say a lot of work goes into this, a lot does. And whether that be the mental, the emotional part, I do a lot of practice on that. So for me, it'll be about going out there and the practice I've done on the breathing and my emotional conditioning is just making sure that that's in tune, and that starts well before.
Joe Cap, appreciate that $2 super chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate your super chat and your comments. Y'all keep it going in the chat. Best chat on YouTube. I appreciate you. Let's go. Let's keep it rocking.
The game that I'll be in the right headspace that I need to be to know how to go out there, take it play by play. It's the game that I love, that I've been playing for a long time.
What are your thoughts on having that type of challenge right away, playing theoretically the best team in the league at their place?
I mean, I wouldn't say that heightens it because they're the Super Bowl champs and it's at their place. It's football. I'm excited to get out there and be on the field any chance, any opportunity that I get. And it's the NFL and it's game one. So it's a lot of importance in it. You want to start off high, you want to start off fast. It doesn't matter who the hell you're going against. Much respect and credit to them, but the emotions would just be about this team, 2025, and us starting the right way.
What do you think could be better about this offense this year than maybe it's even been in the past?
I mean, comparing last year, I plan to be healthy, right? And I think that helps a good bit of it. And then just being able to stay balanced, even when one of them's not, doing as well as we think it may or want it to. Having the resilience of just staying in it, staying in the fight, staying true to our chemistry, to our what's the word I'm looking for? Identity, that'll work. Wasn't the one, but that'll work. Staying true to our identity and just being balanced and not getting overwhelmed and jumping to one or the other because we're not getting the results we want.
So let's talk about what Dak Prescott is saying here. I said this early on. This is what the Cowboys have been working on. And we're going to see if this is actually going to be the case. This team under Mike McCarthy was 3 different teams: the offense, the defense, and special teams. And it was like none of them had each other's back. And if something went wrong, it was like this team would give up. It was strange to me. And if it wasn't the team that would give up, it would be a part of the team that would give up. You never saw it from Dak Prescott, but you could tell that if something went wrong, the defense didn't keep playing. The defense wouldn't start back playing until Dak Prescott got them back in a game. And the thing that Dak Prescott even said last year was, guys need to keep playing. Stop getting so down on a mistake. Stop getting so down when something isn't working. Stop getting so down when a defensive play isn't made. Stop getting so down, and then you stop playing. And then I'm the only one, and he didn't say I'm the only one, but it's true. I'm the only one that's still driving the team. And then if I get us back in it, then you want to start back playing. But as you've been playing the whole time, maybe we get back in it faster. And then maybe we win the game. But this team, it was like they never had each other's back. Rather than having each other's back, it was about, okay, who are we going to blame for this loss today? Who are we going to blame for this? Because somebody is to blame and it's not me. No, they got to get this thing together as a team. Because I'm telling you, if you listen to that Netflix documentary, the one thing those guys kept talking about, y'all have really overvalued the talent, which I'm not, because I'm telling you, them boys are talented. But they were saying, though, but it wasn't just the talent. It was our mentality. It was our camaraderie. It was that family. And as I talked about the other day, the reason why you got to get your culture right, your mentality right, the reason why you got to get that chemistry right is because chemistry is actually, it can be maintained. You can maintain chemistry. Even when things aren't working, you can maintain chemistry because we say, no, we know if we just stay the course, this is going to start clicking. So we're going to stay the course. We're going to keep playing hard. We're going to keep having each other's back, and we're going to keep on rolling because the chemistry is there. Maybe their defense was that good, or maybe their offense was that good, or maybe there was, and even if we made a mistake, we got to, okay, we made that mistake. We back on it. The chemistry is still there. Chemistry, mentality, that's sustainable. What is not sustainable is talent. Talent actually isn't sustainable. It fluctuates. You may not be as talented one year as you are another one, or you may not be as talented in a certain part of your season because of an injury. But if you can keep the mentality right, you can still maintain the chemistry because somebody steps right in, and where they may not do as much as that person did, but maybe there's somebody else who was already playing that does, they take another step. While this guy maintains, this guy says, I'm going to take another step, and I want to lead this charge. So chemistry, and that's what Jimmy was able to do. Jimmy, this is why Steve Berline stepped in 1991, because Jimmy had the chemistry rolling. Berline stepped right in 1991. Took them boys on a 6-game winning streak into the playoffs. You can maintain that. When Jimmy left, Barry comes in. Jerry didn't understand, oh, it's about talent. Talent, talent, talent. We can still win the Super Bowl without Jimmy. Couldn't do it the first year. Second year, he knew we're not going to win it again without Jimmy. Even with Barry, we're not going to win it again. So what did he do? He went out and got more talent. He went out and got Deion Sanders. The talent put him over the top. Guess what happened the following year? Talent began to fluctuate. And where there is no structure, where there is no culture, where there is no mentality, where there is no chemistry, even with the talent they had, it failed. It's not sustainable. Chemistry, culture, all those things, you can sustain that for years. The New England Patriots were just a revolving door of players. Tom Brady was the only constant. The Cowboys have even an advantage over that because the Cowboys got like two constants we know of, Dak and CD. When you talk about mentality, they got Dak and CD. But the Cowboys need to get on another plane now to where the whole team is saying it's us against the world. If they can do that, they're going to go far this year.
Thank you.
Speaking of balance, you have any confidence that Micah will be on the field with you against the Eagles?
He won't be on the field with me.
With the team?
Oh, yeah. No, I've got confidence. I've told y'all that well way back when. And I'm just going off of experience, honestly. No different than mine, so I've got confidence in that.
Micah plays against the Eagles.
Which I know he is. He's ready to play.
You think he's a patient man? Micah, you think he's a patient man?
That's for you to ask.
See, this is the stuff I cannot stand from the media. Come on, man. I gotta. I'm struggling. I'm struggling with whether or not the Dallas Cowboy media members actually like the team. I could never drive myself. I don't care if I'm standing right in front of Dak Prescott, Micah, or anybody. I could never drive myself to ask Dak Prescott, the leader of the organization. The quarterback is not just the leader of the team, y'all. He's the CEO of the organization. I'm not going to ask the CEO, do you think Micah is patient? What am I supposed to say? Man, yeah, Micah's not patient. He's impatient. You see the letter he wrote? You see the fact he's not wearing his jersey? You see he erased us off his social media? Do you see him, the shenanigans he's pulling on the sidelines in the preseason games? Do you see all of that? No, Micah Parsons is not patient. How do you ask this man this? It's bananas. And I wish Dak, I can see where Dak is trying to be sarcastic because I'm pretty sure Dak is like, these are some bull junk questions y'all are asking. It's bull junk. This dude, and I'm thinking this may be Calvin Watkins back there.
Is this whole thing been a distraction for the team?
Hold on.
Micah, you think he's a patient man?
That's for you to ask him.
Is this whole thing been a...
See, he's trying to put Dak in a tight situation because he's trying to say, you see the stuff that Michael's been doing. Are you condoning it? Oh, I'm telling you. I am telling you. This has got to be one of the most divisive questions I've had. That's why I say, see, these people, I'm starting to realize something about these people in the Dallas media. They don't work for the Cowboys. They write about the Cowboys. They don't work for the Cowboys. And I question whether they're even fans of the Cowboys because I could not. I don't care if my boss told me to answer that question. He gonna fire me because I'm not asking that. This is why I'm telling you, I would much rather be doing what I'm doing than doing what they're doing. Because there is no way that if that kind of question would be required of me by my boss, bro, you're going to have to fire me. Because that is a very divisive question. It's crazy work.
Distraction for the team as you prepare?
I wouldn't say so.
Look. Come on, man. Why are you asking Dak Prescott if Micah Parsons is a distraction? Even if he was. Do you think he would tell you? Or are you hoping in some weird chance that Dak Prescott would go off of his CEO script and say, heck yeah, he's been a distraction. Man, we can't even function out here because Micah Parsons is on the sideline pouting. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, he's a distraction. I don't understand these kind of questions. I don't even call these journalistic questions, as in, though they're going to give us some type of insight that we never understood about the Cowboys. Why would Dak Prescott say Micah Parsons is impatient and Micah Parsons is a distraction?
As I alluded to it before, I mean, there's been a case of something similar to this the last 3 years, I believe. So if not before, I mean, I guess, right? Not necessarily. I think that's people can take it however they want. I think it's kind of part of the way guys think and see things around here. I don't always hear a lot, but I actually did hear DeMarcus Lawrence talking about it, and I think he hit it on the head of, like, when you're here in this organization, this is just how you see things are done, whether they're right, wrong, or whoever has their view about them. But what I think that does help is allow us to just stay focused on our jobs and us understanding that us putting energy toward any of that doesn't help.
CD held out last year, and obviously he's back now.
See, I want you to look at the look on Dak Prescott's face. See, they're talking to a grown man. Dak Prescott is looking at them right now saying, so you telling me we are 10 days away from playing the biggest game probably of the season until we get further in, but this is the biggest game of the season. We got football in 10 days. And of all the questions to ask, you're not asking football questions. You're actually asking me questions that not only can I not answer in most cases, because some people may even misconstrue what Dak is saying. Dak is saying, I can't tell you whether or not what Micah Parsons is doing to the whole team is a distraction. I can't tell you that because I can't tell you how everyone feels. But what I can tell you is that, in a sense, it's maybe not a distraction to us, as many may think, because we understand that this is the way business is done around here. We know this is the football business, and so no, it doesn't bother us. So what it does for us is that we say, no, we stay focused and we stay out of the football business. But Dak is really looking at them like these questions are stupid because they're non-football questions, and you should literally be asking more about what are we go. Ask me more football questions. Ask me more questions about myself. Ask me football questions about things that I can actually tell you, rather than asking me about another man's business. I mean, I'm just being honest. If I was Dak Prescott, I'd be telling them I'm not answering any questions about Micah Parsons. I would just tell him I'm not answering any questions about Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is a Dallas Cowboy. Micah Parsons will be signed. Micah Parsons will be extended, and Micah Parsons will be playing against the Eagles. That's my belief. I'm not answering any more Micah Parsons questions. That's where I would be. But Dak, CEO, company man, he's answering the questions. But he's looking at him too like, this is crazy. Why are you asking me this dumb stuff?
How much he missed just being around you guys at camp?
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely evident, and it was something that he talked about. I even talked about it to the group this past spring out in Georgia on our trip. Just, sometimes you allow this business to strip just the fun and the love that you have for the game. And I think Mike, as I said, is doing a great job of being here, being present, being around the guys.
But do you see him body language? Do you see him missing being on the field? Is that stripping some of the joy? I mean, yes, he's with you guys, but not being able to.
We're trying to create a storyline. We want a storyline. Jerry needs to sign Michael right now because Dak Prescott said that the team is distracted. That Dak Prescott said that the team is really seeing that Michael wants to be out there and the team really needs. People are going to learn something about this stuff with these grown men. Y'all going to learn something. We're going to learn something about these grown men one of these days, because I'm telling you. Does everybody want to win? Yes. But let me tell you something that you might not be catching on to. Some players do see this stuff as a distraction, and they just don't want to say anything. They probably very well do. But they're also saying, I got my own business to worry about. Bro, I got my own contract coming up I got to worry about. I don't care if I'm Sam Williams, yeah, I want Micah Parsons playing. But if he don't play, more opportunities for me. I know somebody might not like that, but you don't think Joe Milton right now is dreaming of the day? I got a news for you. Joe Milton didn't come here to wait 3 years behind Dak Prescott. Joe Milton chose the Dallas Cowboys because he thinks there's a chance that Dak Prescott, because he's been hurt over the last few years, that Dak Prescott may get hurt again. Or maybe in the next 2 years, maybe there's an issue with Dak's contract and the Cowboys are ready to move on. You don't think this man is here for that reason? You don't think that the man that's behind the player is thinking in his mind, more opportunities for me? I'd love to prove the fact that we could play this game without Micah Parsons. Y'all better learn something about grown men. And it is crazy to me that they are asking this man some of the most divisive questions rather than asking him about himself, football, just in general stuff. But instead, we're going to dedicate the last 2 to 3 minutes of this man's interview to talking about Micah Parsons. I'll be honest with you. They really need to answer their own question. Is he a distraction? Are you talking about it? I mean, really, because it seems to me the distraction he is, the only distraction that I could truly see he is to the media. Because they're the ones who always seem to say we got to talk about it. It don't seem like to me the players they don't seem like to me they want to talk about it. And when you think about the 1992 season, when Emmett held out for those 2 games, I mean, the Cowboys finally got tired of talking about it. They just finally started, man, we're not answering no more doggone questions about Emmitt Smith. He's not here. We're not answering questions. Man, it is crazy to just drag this stuff with these players. I would, if it was me, I know Dak, he's a very, polite guy, but I would just straight out tell him, nah, man, I'm not talking about Micah Parsons. I'm not talking about Micah Parsons. He's a Cowboy. He'll be here against the Eagles. We're going to have him for the season. That's all I got to say.
Practice, it just doesn't look like he's happy with the situation.
And that's for you guys to ask him. I'm not here to judge body language.
Tell him that.
Yeah, I don't think Mike has probably ever been, the A guy we want to watch his body language and do what he does. Let Micah go make plays, and that's what he does. And yeah, I'm not reading into the language.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's frustrating.
As a football fan, what do you know about Shotty's dad as a coach? Have you
Yeah. No, I don't necessarily remember anything, but I got a marketing agent who's from Cleveland, so knows about his dad's Cleveland days. Just talking with Shotty. Mike, honestly, from being a lot of time with Mike, I heard a lot of stories from Shotty's dad, and so hard-nosed ball coach. That didn't take any, and super excited for Shotty to get this opportunity now, making it real, and know how much of what his dad taught him and how his dad was as a coach he's going to carry into this, and I'm happy for us. Thank you, guys.
Love the way Dak Prescott answered that last one. I'm not here to, tell him, man. Hey, man, I'm not a body I'm not a body language specialist. What do you want me to tell you? I'm not a body language specialist. I can't tell you. I'm not dealing in that stuff. Because these guys are just simply trying to pull out storylines. And I don't understand it. But, man, those questions are divisive, man. Is it distracting to the team? Is Micah patient? What? Oh, my gosh. That is crazy. Whoa, boy, I don't even know where questions like that would even come from. That is crazy work to me. Crazy work to me. Ken R, appreciate that super chat, $5. Yeah, appreciate you. Guys, I'm telling you, that is crazy work to me. Crazy work to me. I understand these guys have a job to do, but that's why for me, I'm just telling you, I would much rather be independent on that level. I would much rather be independent because I wouldn't want to be asking these divisive questions. They're stupid. They're absolutely stupid to me. I just don't understand, what are they going to get out of these questions other than dividing a football team? How do you like a football team? And Brian Davis said, I couldn't agree more. I've said it time and time again. Micah's immature. What he needs to do is play out his contract. I don't get these new players. Brian Davis, appreciate you in the chat. Brian Davis, some of this stuff comes from these guys be listening to people on social media. And they be hyping these guys up. And some of these guys, they're young, they're in that age, and they go along with a lot of that stuff. It's crazy to me. Ace Wade, appreciate that super chat. Ace Wade, nasty work by the media, bro. Nasty work by the media. I could not push myself to ask those questions. That's crazy work to me, man. Whew. I couldn't do it, man. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not over. I'm trying. Whew. Whoa. I just can't do it. Man, when a grown man hear this kind of talk, boy, it just bothers you, boy. Grown women, I know grown women are bothered by this kind of talk. It's crazy. Woo. Can't do it. Can't do it. Brian said, how do you bypass the Jerry conference? Which one? He said, if you call Michael child emotional, can we call Jerry out for being just as emotional? I don't know if Jerry, you know what, Brian? I don't think Jerry's being emotional. Because I've watched Jerry for 30 years. Man, let me tell you something, Brian. That Netflix documentary really put some things in perspective for me. Jerry don't get emotional. I don't really think he does. Even when you look at Jerry Jones's father, Jerry Jones's father was Jerry got some of that stuff from his father. And Jerry's father was not an emotional man. Jerry's father was a businessman. And Jerry's father saw business opportunities in everything. And so with Jerry Jones, I don't see Jerry, especially now, I don't see Jerry as an emotional man as it pertains to his emotions dictates how he moves. Jerry doesn't move by his emotions. Jerry moves by business. Jerry moves by opportunity. And Jerry is using this opportunity, the Stephen A. Smith thing. Jerry was brutal in that Stephen A. Smith interview. And Jerry is using that as an opportunity to apply business pressure, as in saying, I don't care what y'all say. We got Micah for 3 years. 5th-year option and franchise tags. Micah's under contract. I'm not moving off what I offered Micah. Jerry is even getting so bold in how he's moving from a business perspective to say, hey, who wants to look at the contract? Who wants to look at what me and Micah agreed to? That's Jerry Jones. That's how he does business. And Jerry is really putting that out there because of Micah's agent and the things that Micah is doing. Man, we never saw Jerry do this stuff with Dak and CD. Nah, Jerry didn't do this stuff with Dak and CD, man. This stuff he doing with Micah, it is like all-out war, even though I think it's a bunch of smoke and mirrors, because I still say at the end of the day, Brian, Jerry is going to sign Micah. But I don't think Jerry is responding emotionally as much as Jerry is responding in a way to say, nah, I'm about business this time. No, this is business. I want y'all to know because I hear what y'all out here saying, but this ain't the same this time. I actually tried to pay this man early. That's what Jerry is out here trying to say. And I don't even think he's trying to say it. That's what Jerry is saying. Jerry is saying not only did I try to pay him early, because y'all saying I hadn't paid him yet. Not only did I not try to pay him early, but I tried to make him the highest paid. No, I don't think Jerry's being emotional. I don't think he's being emotional. But at the same time, we got to stop this thing too, though, Brian. We got to stop this mentality of just because somebody else do it, I do it too. No, you don't get to hold my emotions captive. You don't get to hold me captive because you cursed me out. So we both want to say, hey, you cursed me out, I'm going to curse you out too. We get this young generation, man, I'm going to bring the same energy. I'm not bringing the same energy. Because you might bring a certain type of energy towards me that if I try to match you or I try to outmatch you, somebody don't wake up tomorrow. See, that's immature thinking right there. My actions are not predicated upon the next man. We get these immature folk. Oh man, he came at me a certain way, so I'm gonna come at a person. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I always weigh the cost of doing everything. I weigh the cost of doing everything. And I am not going to allow you to be my excuse of why I stopped being me. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So that's why I say no matter how Jerry is acting, it doesn't justify how Micah Parsons is acting. And that's the very thing I don't like about the younger way. It's not even this, you know what, don't even let me call it this younger way of thinking. It's this generation way of thinking. Because we got old men thinking like this. Old men and women thinking stupid. Old men and women egging on this young man to do stupid stuff. It's crazy to me. Jerry is no excuse for anything Micah does. Joe Cap, he said, gee, I truly believe the damage is already done. How does this super chat work? Because you deserve some guaranteed money. I appreciate it. I think it's a super chat, but you've already figured it out. That's probably behind your super chat. But again, yeah, I appreciate you, Joe Cap. I'm telling us, there is nothing that Jerry is doing that's justifying what Micah's doing. Because for me, the more stupid you act, the more sane I'm going to act. If I do something stupid, I'm going to come back and apologize because I don't want it to go beyond that. I'm just not going to do that stuff. It just doesn't make sense, man. We got to be grown men and women about this. What's going on, Buddy Locke? He said, yeah, he did, and he came back and was still good. Yeah, Tyron Smith. Yeah, I'm not worried about Dak. I think he's going to be great. And again, this injury happens in hockey quite a bit. So it's no wonder Dak's going to be able to come back from it. Poopy D, boy, I love what you just said right here. Hey, Poopy D, that would have been the perfect answer for him, wouldn't it? Booby D should have told him when he asked, do he got patience? He should have said, I'm not a doctor. So that's what he should have told him. Yeah, he should have told him he's not a doctor, so he don't have patience. Man, that would have been a great answer to tell him, man. Boy, that would have been a great answer to tell him. I'm telling you that would have been a great answer. Deion Jefferson, what up with you? Boy, C-Base, boy, you better say it. C-Base, my man, he said, they want Dak to say something controversial so bad. Boy, you... C-Base, I'm sorry, man. That's not jerk. Man, these guys can do whatever they want to do. I just can't... How do you do this? How do you ask this? Woo, boy. Blue Star, he said, my man's G is done with this. I am Blue Star. It's crazy to me, man. You 10 days before the season, and you asking this man something that could literally just destroy the foundation of the team? It's crazy, man. Crazy. My sister Brandy, she said, children, yes. I'll tell it like it is. He said he came back after 2020 and balled out in 2021, didn't play preseason then. Yeah, I think Dak will be fine. I still would have liked to have seen him play during the preseason, even if it had been handing off the ball. But nevertheless, I'm not worried about Dak Prescott. I think it'll take him about a quarter to get warmed up. He'll be ready to go. And that's why if I'm Brian Schottenheimer, I'm coming out bombs away. I'm telling y'all right now, I don't even care if I complete it. I don't care if it's an interception. I'm coming out bombs away. Bombs away on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going straight down the field, George Pickens, and I'm telling the Eagles, this is the kind of day y'all in for. So back up. I want y'all to back way up. Because now I want to get all my underneath stuff, and now I want my running game working. But you're going to back up today. Because every time I even see you, every time I see you playing up close, I'm throwing that. I'm throwing it to. I'm going to the end zone every single time. I'm gonna back you up. I'm gonna get this run game going. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get this run game going. Hey, Kimbo. This is exactly what I'm talking about. People better learn something about grown men. They all want Micah there. But I tell you this, they all want Michael there with the mindset of if I'm Sam Williams and if Michael don't come, I'm balling out in this spot. I'm not saying I don't want Michael back, but I'm going to make it hard on the Joneses to bring him back because I'm telling you, I'm up in this thing trying to ball out. If I'm Sam Williams, that's my mindset. If I'm James Houston, I'm balling out. I'm not worried about who here and who not here. I'm here. I'm balling out. I'm balling out. It is what it is. I'm balling out. Ace Wade, honestly, neither are justifiable. Yeah, those questions were crazy, man. Those are crazy questions. I just don't call those journalistic questions. Those are divisive questions to me. To me, it's like you don't even like the team. Lost in translation, he said it's lazy journalism. He said they have 1,000 questions they could be asking him, like how is this connection with George Pickens? What? Man, come on, man. You put me in front of Dak Prescott. What? Man, I got some great questions. Man, I've covered out all kinds of questions, man. Hey, you said the offense is going to be exciting. I mean, without revealing the plays or anything, but, what can you tell us? Are you excited about Kevontae Turpin being a bigger part of the offense this year? That's a great question for Dak Prescott. What are your thoughts on Kevontae Turpin being a bigger part of this offense? Are you excited, Dak Prescott, about this wide receiver room? Would you call this one of the best wide receiver rooms you had since you've been with the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott? I would be asking him stuff like that because those are just so valuable as far as the questions go. I would be asking him stuff like that. Stuff I know that he can absolutely answer. Hey, Dak, what do you think? How are you feeling about this team? Hey, this team is more talented than the 2023 team. Do you think this team can go further than the 2023 team? Man, there's so many questions they could have asked him, especially when you're talking about George Pickens. Hey, Dak, what do you think about CeeDee Lamb, the step that he made this year? A lot of people have been talking about George Pickens, but a lot of people aren't talking as much as about Has anybody not realized that CeeDee Lamb took another step? CeeDee Lamb took another step. Man, I'd be talking stuff like that. But them questions, man, whew. Them the kind of questions right there. You answer them the wrong way, boy, them could crack a team open. Busch Gardens fans, he said, let's sign a contract for Parsons already. I give it till, see, we're not going to have the next Friday because the Cowboys playing Thursday. I'm thinking by Monday. Micah's going to be signed. As a matter of fact, somebody said to me today, I won't say whose name it is, but I do think based on some things that I've seen, I think they're kind of like connected on the inside. They've said that it looks like that Micah may have already reached out, and the negotiations may very well be going right now as we speak. And so we may be hearing something in the next few days. And that person also said, and I 100% agree with them and believe what they're telling me. They're saying that the media is the one who has hyped this up. And it's obvious, especially when you look at some of the questions that they ask. And again, no hate on them in particular, because I definitely love Clarence Hill. I think Clarence Hill asked him very good questions. I think Clarence Hill has actually been one of the best question askers in the media for the Dallas Cowboys this entire season, in the preseason. Clarence has been absolutely great. But again, boy, some of the questions, man, I'm just like, whoa, man. Whoa. All right, before we get out of here, let's see if there's anything on the news wire that is broke. Let's see this page. Let's refresh it. I don't see anything new on the Cowboys cuts. But I think tomorrow, there will be fireworks, or either later on tonight. And again, if we get some significant cuts tonight, I'll come back on Cowboys After Dark. But I have a feeling tomorrow is when the fireworks are going to fly, and people are going to be oohing and ahhing as it pertains to the Cowboys. But I can say you this, the Mozzie Smith mob, as I call them, they don't have to worry. Brian Broaddus has already answered, and I think Brian Broaddus has some inside information, and it's actually a no-brainer. But Brian Broaddus has said that Mozzie is going to be on the team. He's going to be on the team. So for all the people who were concerned about Mozzie, he's going to be here. If all you who hate Jerry Jones, you can thank Jerry Jones for that, because I'm telling you, Jerry Jones wants Mozzie to be here because Jerry don't want to be wrong on Mozzie, and he wants to give him another opportunity. All right, so before we get out of here, we've got a couple more minutes. Let's get in Tyler Guyton. Tyler Guyton has an interview up. Let's see what Tyler Guyton has to tell us.
What were you able to do in practice?
I did individual, and I'm feeling blessed, bro. I'm just happy to be back out there.
How's it been coming along as far as progress-wise? Are you on track for week one, or where you guys at with that?
We're going to keep monitoring it, but I'm going to leave that up to the training staff.
You're at a point where you have to see how you feel the next day after you push it, see how it responds, or do you know it's going to respond good now?
It's a little bit of both. It's right in the middle, I would say.
He playing.
You obviously did a lot of stretching, and then you changed your diet in the offseason too. When you have an injury like that, I mean, where it could have been an ACL, could have been something like that, so maybe the stretching and the diet maybe help a lot with that?
I think so, bro, because, I like to think that I'm pretty flexible, and I try to credit that to, the work that I've done, trying to make my body more agile and things like that. So I would say that it probably helped a lot.
One thing that stood out when you were out in Oxnard is, even though you weren't able to physically participate, you were on the sideline kind of going through mental reps during the OL drills and things like that. Just talk about the importance of being able to stay engaged and why you try so hard to stay engaged.
There's a choice, bro. I mean, there's a choice. When you get injured, especially for an extended period of time, you can either, have 1 foot in or 1 foot out. And I chose to be all the way in with my team and go through every rep like I was playing and be in every meeting like I'm, going out there to practice the next day, because at the end of the day, the team cohesion builds off of like guys being there and being present. So I wasn't going to miss a day, like, you know what I mean?
How are the veterans like Tyler Smith and some of the other guys been as far as helping you along and stay engaged as you recover from the injury?
I mean, they're just leading by example. Once again, I've seen it, other guys get injured as well, and they do the same things that I'm doing, trying to stay engaged, staying locked in, and being present in the moment. So I've learned a lot from everybody, and I'm taking bits and pieces here and there.
Tell me, the opener is obviously against a familiar opponent up in Philly, but there's still, changes year to year. When did you individually or the team, the line collectively, start looking at Philly for the opener, or is that something y'all haven't done yet? Have y'all been doing that?
Am I allowed to say that? Are you? I don't think I'm allowed to say that, actually. I'm going to skip that question. I'm sorry.
But you guys feel like you're going to be ready.
We're going to be ready for Philly.
It is a great test to open.
We're going to be ready for Philly.
How do you cram in the work you're going to need to get ready to feel confident, get up and go when you've missed 3 weeks, whatever it's been?
Keep chopping wood, carrying water, or whatever the case is. Is it chopping wood, carrying water? Is that what it is?
Because you're a football player.
Yeah. Chopping wood, carrying water. I mean, just day by day, one foot in front of the other, doing the best that I can to get back.
Yeah, what other things did you do? Obviously, we're waiting for your leg to get better, but how else did you attack rehab? What did you do to kind of progress while you couldn't actually be out there practicing?
Watching more tape, doing extra things for my body so when I get back, I'm not skipping a beat. Trying my best to stay at a high level, you know what I mean, in any way that I can.
What was your favorite biohack?
What does that even mean?
As far as, did you try the cryo? Did you try different types of nutrition? What was your favorite rabbit you pulled out of the hat?
I'm doing a lot more like mobility work, I would say. Like my mobility has definitely gotten better. My range of motion is better. And I think that's like a key component to keeping your body, oiled up.
This man said, we will be, hold on a second. This man said, we will. Are y'all hearing that? We will be ready for Philly. We will be ready for Philly. I'm telling you now. Y'all wait until we have our post-game show. Brian Schottenheimer is going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink. Everything, including the kitchen sink in Philadelphia. I think he knows the ramifications of this football game. I mean, you are literally talking about a game that could start a Super Bowl run. You put the whole league on notice on this game. Let's listen to Ferguson before we get out of here.
In preseason, how hard is it said? Well, we can't really look at the preseason. We got to look at maybe the last time we played them and maybe how.
Right. Yeah. I think it's important to just look at everything. So us having to play them twice a year, going back into last year's both games even, and then also just flagging the preseason reps where their starters are in or something like that. So.
How do you keep yourself from overthinking, overanalyzing going into week one, knowing how badly you want to have a bounce back season?
Yeah, me personally, I don't really think too far ahead in that sense. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I need to do, and that starts with every single day. I can't look that far ahead, so it's just for me. It's about getting better every single day. One thing to get better on, and moving forward with that.
Does that first practice back in heat kind of remind you like, oh, dang? Because you're in California for a month, right? I mean, does it kind of hit you in a day like today? Not in pads and things.
I mean, it would have if I hadn't been outside, but I'm taking walks now out in the heat. I've off days, I'll go take a walk or something. So I'm pretty used to it and have been here for 4 years now. So it's not a surprise. So I know it's going to be hot in Texas. So.
And the young guys or new guys say anything, it's like, ooh, I knew it was going to be hot. I didn't know it was going to be like this.
Yeah, sometimes every once in a while. But at the same time, we put a huge emphasis on hydration and just being ready for the heat.
Thank you.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Actually, what do you know about Shotty's dad?
A lot. Him and my grandfather were good friends.
Okay.
And being on that coaching level, they talked, and anytime I see my grandpa, he's always like,
"Whoa, didn't know that one." He said his grandfather or his father was good friends with Schottenheimer. Was Schottenheimer's father? Didn't know that one. He played that back again.
Level, they talked, and anytime I see my grandpa, he's always being on that coaching grandfather were really
Know about Shotty's dad?
a lot. Him and my grandfather were good friends.
Okay.
And being on that coaching level, they talked, and anytime I see my grandpa, he's always like,
okay,
"Tell
I
Shotty
didn't
to
know
say what's
that."
up, and it's definitely when they get together, it's pretty cool.
And do you remember much about his dad? I mean, obviously he was-
Me personally, I would have been. Yeah, I was born in '99, so personally, I don't know, but I do hear stories from my grandfather quite a bit.
What's he say about it?
He's a great coach. I mean, he loved the way he was, his coaching style, and I think they kind of have similarities in the way they coach for sure.
Marty Ball and Barry Ball?
Yeah.
Was that the thing? Was that a thing?
I
with
think they would.
Wisconsin?
No, yeah, but I think their coaching styles are pretty similar because, I thought I knew how my grandpa coached until he came back for that Rose Bowl, and I was in the locker room and I listened to him and I was like, okay, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, of course.
Because teams are
All right. Let me read a few comments. Before we get up out of here, I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do. It has been almost 2,000 in here, but for about 500, easily 600 at a time. If you have not subscribed, please do. We have a lot of great things coming up this season. And if you haven't experienced Cowboys After Dark, please not only subscribe, but hit that notification bell. We do Cowboys After Dark where we actually come on at midnight and we talk about the Dallas Cowboys. So again, hit that notification bell, subscribe, hit that like button, share this content, especially out there on social media. We got a lot of great things coming up this season. We're going to be celebrating the 1-year anniversary of this channel. I'm thinking we're going to probably do it in September for sure. I may do it the first game. I'm going to kind of see how I can put things together. But nevertheless, this channel wouldn't be what it is without a lot of you out there. And I appreciate you so much. Appreciate you. Best chat on YouTube. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. All right. Let's get a few comments in before we get up out of here. I saw some earlier. I didn't get a chance to highlight. Dominique Pittman, he said he would do the same thing I'm talking about doing. Dominique Pittman said he would come out the first play of the game and go for the bomb. That's what I'm doing. I'm telling you, I'm going for the bomb. I saw also a Blue Star. I missed where it was. Blue Star said we're going to wake up tomorrow and Micah Parsons is going to be signed. You know what? I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. We wake up tomorrow, Micah Parsons is extended. I'm sorry, Micah Parsons will be extended. Hallelujah said, yes, he's probably tired of being censored for saying how he feels. Man, I'm telling you, they was trying their best to pull something out of that. Daniel said, we need Micah out there, guys. Yeah, no doubt. Look at the Eagles' O-line and compare it to our defensive line. Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know, man. The only place that I would really consider there's a crack in the armor of the Cowboys defensive line is at the one tech position. But if you talk to me about the edge and you talk to me about the 3 tech, boy, I'm telling you, we looking good. And Matt Eberflus may shock all of us. Matt Eberflus, with those linebackers, they may very well be able to stop the Eagles easy and stop the run. Susan said, look at Big Money Ferg with his shirt off. Yeah. I'm like shocked, like when he was talking about I think his grandfather knew Shotty's father. Tell it like it is. He said Eagles left guard banged up and a rookie right guard or something, but they got questions. Oh, yeah. Hey, tell it like it is. Let me tell you something. There may be a lot of disappointed people when it comes to this game. As this game grows closer and stuff that I'm kind of hearing about the Eagles, and then the stuff that I've been seeing from the Cowboys, there may be some people that get disappointed. And don't y'all be surprised come Friday morning, people start moving the goalpost on the Dallas Cowboys. It would not shock me if the Cowboys blew the doors off the Philadelphia Eagles next Thursday. Man, it just wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. It takes a certain mentality to come off of a Super Bowl win and then come back the next season with that same level of hunger and just open up, whooping butt and taking names. It takes a different kind of team. The Cowboys in the 90s were a different kind of team. Jimmy Johnson, all he cared about was winning. One Super Bowl to Jimmy was trash. 2 was an expectation. Jimmy had a mindset of every time I coach, every year I coach, I should win the Super Bowl. Everybody don't coach like that. Bill Belichick was like that. Everybody don't coach like that. A lot of times, you see when those teams win the Super Bowl, they come back the next season, they start laying eggs everywhere. I can tell you this, the Cowboys are going to be out for blood. I'm telling you, they are going to be hungry to beat the Eagles. And I know Dak Prescott is going to want to prove that, hey, man, with me here, because it was funny when they asked him, like, what makes you think this offense is going to be better this year? Shoot, me. Y'all heard what Dak started out with? Me. I'm healthy. That's a big part of it. Boom. Shoot, me. Quasi Blake said Philly is not invincible. We will beat Philly. Quasi Blake, I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if we blow the doors off of them. I wouldn't. Kimbo says as long as our offense can go off and score points, they can compensate for the defense. I agree. I will not be surprised, I'm telling you, the Cowboys blow the doors off of them. Mo Hundro, he said, man, I just want a Super Bowl win. We're going to get one too. I believe we get one in the next 3 years. I think it's next year. I really do. I think it's next year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's this year. I'm telling you, the Cowboys still need a couple of more roster tweaks. The Cowboys are about 2 players away from being just an insane team. And I already think they're going to be an insane team. The offense, I truly believe, top 5. I believe at the end of the year, we're going to be having a conversation top 5. Ron Hanna said, man, he ain't live. Best on YouTube. I appreciate you, bro. Hanna. He said, keep up the good work, G, and I'm ready for the ride this year. Man, we're going to have a great time this year, bro. We're going to have a great time. We're going to do some great things on this channel. Got a lot of stuff coming up. Susan Paul said, facts, too old for all this nonsense. That's where I am, too. Man, Ace Wade said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys and Micah Parsons agree to an extension late tonight or early in the morning. I tell you right now, if they come to an agreement tonight, I'm back on tonight. And tomorrow, if they sign that deal tomorrow, I don't care what time it is, I'm coming on. The New House fam, he said, Rich County Police Department. What's going on, regulator? Quasi Blake, Dak is 9-4 against Philly. We'll beat them next Thursday. Man, I'm telling you, I'm not going to be surprised we blow the doors off of them. I'm just not going to be surprised. Tell it like it is, said it's wild, Holly. He said, y'all was laughing at me last time when they muted me for disagreeing and said it, and I said it was lame. Man, dang it, we don't have a true one tech. But again, Matt Eberflus's defenses are predicated on the 3 tech. Lisa Worley, I appreciate you. She said, great show. Yup. Let me see here. Mohandro said, Madden curse will come to the Eagles. Man, whoo. Hey, I'm going to tell you now, man. Hey, he's already talked about retiring. I just wonder if that hunger going to still be there. Saquon Barkley has already talked about retiring. I mean, that's crazy to me when you start talking about, you might wake up one day in the next couple of years and say you're done. Man, I ain't having them kind of conversations. Robert M. up in this piece. What's going on? Welcome to the congregation. Let me see here. Let me get a couple more before we get up out of here. Man, great night talking Cowboys. I appreciate y'all. Tell it like it is. Says, I honestly wouldn't give a F, bro. He said, y'all make this chat lame. Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on. Tell it like it is. All right. Y'all take it easy on our man. Tell it like it is. Let's see here. Hallelujah said we're going to put belts to the butt, G. Okay, I see you. Y'all keeping it going. Terrence Washington said the Patriots are going to have the biggest Super Bowl hangover. Oh, yes. Yes. Terrence, It takes a special kind of coach to keep a team hungry. It takes a special type of coach. Alfredo Morales is up in here somewhere. What's going on, Alfredo? Sorry about that. Let's see here. Blue Star said, breaking news. Dallas Cowboys are finalizing a deal with Micah Parsons. $230 million over 5 years with $170 million guaranteed. Wow, let's see. Let's go and pull that up. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see if we can find something on it. Okay, did you get that from X Blue Star? Let me see. Okay, I don't see it over on X just yet. AOC gonna be one of the first ones. AOC gonna be one of the first ones to know. You watch what I tell you. Let me see. Don't see anything yet. No. Don't see anything yet. Don't see anything on X. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But I'm pretty sure, I guarantee you AOC will probably be one of the first ones to report on it. I think he kind of has some inside information on some stuff, so we'll see. Miss Matrix, what's going on? She said, I'll be looking for the late night, G. Appreciate the show. All right, again, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. We're going to go ahead and get off here. I'll see if something comes up tonight. We'll be back for Cowboys After Dark. But again, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Man, we got to be excited. We got to be excited about this Cowboys season. Got to be excited. Tyler Guyton said we'll be ready for Philly. I believe it. It is time to get this thing rocking. So, again, until the next time, y'all make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys when we talk facts. Peace.